NapaCafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 76.40, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49.9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 mpg highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And a pleasant, good Thursday afternoon to you on this March 21st, the first of what is arguably the two best days of sports of the calendar year. A lot of people say that. I won't quibble with that whatsoever. I love these 2 days when we have wall-to-wall basketball, quite literally from 11 o'clock in the morning to 11 in the evening. Johnny Hill with me today, Bryant Dacus. And, Johnny, we were talking the other day about this, about the number of people, and I would love to get it at the text line. If you've ever done it through the years, at 901-360-8255, if you've ever done it through the years, if you've ever played hooky on today, if you ever called in sick and played sick or acted sick or it suddenly hit you. We talked the other day about, these 2 days are the Super Bowl
they are
of vasectomy. For males to have that surgery just to lay up and recuperate and watch basketball today and tomorrow. Bryant Dacus has not had that procedure today.
He did not.
I don't want to violate any HIPAA laws with Bryant, and I sure don't want to spread any rumor for someone that just celebrated their 24th birthday. He did not have that today. But it hit him earlier today.
It hit him.
It hit him.
He was in bad shape today, Brett.
The bug, and he was not faking. So he's going to be out today. We were just talking about that, and I remember one year here where we were doing a big Thursday NCAA tournament remote, kind of the all-day remote at a great place. We did it at James Davis, or not James Davis, at Bud Davis Cadillac. Got James Davis in there too. We did it at Bud Davis Cadillac, and it was fun. Had TV set up there all day, and we watched the games all day Thursday there, and with listeners. And then Friday we were out. Well, I was going to watch on Thursday, but it hit me that day, that morning en route. I mean, I'm headed to work and just could not go.
Yeah.
And called and said, I got to tell everybody thought, you work at a sports radio station and you played hooky, you played sick. I did not. And Brian is not doing it.
Brian ain't.
We hope we get him back tomorrow. But he is out today. He was here for a little while for the happy hour and then had to go, and we hope he's able to be back tomorrow. And we know there are a lot of people in town for NCAA tournament. To the Clemson, New Mexico, Baylor, Colgate, Houston, Longwood, Nebraska, and Texas A&M fans, welcome to Memphis, and hope you have a good time.
Yeah.
And hope it's a fun weekend for all. It will be real fun for two teams that get out of the Memphis region and head to the Sweet 16. Johnny, I have already have two big red X's by BYU. Had them winning today and advancing to the Sweet 16. They will do neither. They did not win today, and they will not advance to the Sweet 16. They were defeated by Duquesne 71-67.
Man, and I'm just like you. I had BYU winning. Also, I had Mississippi State winning. I got some red marks on my thing as well, man. And I'm like, dang, already. And Brett, you know, this is my first time ever filling out a bracket.
Well, you did the brackets last week. First time to do an NCAA.
Yeah,
bracket.
first time doing an NCAA.
We had the walkthrough last week.
Yeah, a walkthrough. I like it, Brett. Before the game.
You know I'm going to bring it back to football, John.
Before the game, man. Yeah. But, yeah, I was like, dang. I was talking to John. I'm like, man, John, this is my first bracket ever. He said, really? He said, I've done 40 in my life.
I heard y'all talking about it, and I've talked about it. The Tigers went to the tournament in 73. Yeah. I'm not saying I did a bracket that year, but I was keenly interested. It was what really got – I'd kind of known about the NCAA tournament. I was – in 73, I was 10, turning 11 that fall, and I kind of knew about it, but I'm not at all describing I'd watched, every game and did any brackets. And then in 74, the Tigers went to the NIT, and I was interested in the NCAA tournament because I was really interested in David Thompson at North Carolina State.
He was a good player.
Oh, he was a good player. Original Skywalker. I mean, it was unbelievable. But I didn't do a bracket. And I'm going to say first bracket was about 78. Arkansas ended up going to the Final Four that year.
Yeah.
And I think I did a bracket kind of first pool contest. Gambling was around 79 or 80, and then I had a friend of mine that just passed away this time last year. He loved every year when it would get down to the Sweet 16. When we started doing this in high school, so it was really, 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 really low stakes. I mean, it was like $5 a person,
yeah.
And we'd get 16 different guys, and
it can add up.
It'd be $90.
Yeah,
is that right? In the pot. And no, I don't think that's right. But anyway, we would do it. And then through the years, it built and built and built. And one year, we could only find 15 people to do the pot. And I said, well, I'll buy a second one. And by then, it was like $100 a team. And, so $2,600 or $1,600 in the pot. And I had the two teams in the finals that year.
Oh.
and he said,
man,
I don't know how you've rigged this, but somehow you have.
He said, I don't know how you rigged.
And I had not, but I got really lucky and had so much fun through the years with the NCAA tournament.
It's fun.
And we will. My favorite 2 days of the year of sports is the Saturday and Sunday of the Masters. And the Sunday of the Masters is my single favorite day of the year. I used to say January 1st, New Year's Day, with the bowl games like they used to be when it all came down to rose, cotton, orange, and sugar on that day. But we've kind of, I don't know, we haven't ruined New Year's Day, but it has definitely changed.
Yeah, it has. It has fully been impacted.
It has. I mean, we still have that Rose Bowl kicking off at 4 Central and, in the bright sunshine. I love that. Super Bowl Sunday, I like
Super Bowl Sunday,
but I've been to some, but it was never my favorite. But these are two really good days. I know everybody enjoys it. Got your bracket? If you have yours out, and if you got red X's on it, let us know, and we'll take you till 6 o'clock talking about this and trying to update all these games. There's a big story breaking from college basketball from a team leaving the American, headed to the ACC. Rob Lanier, the head coach at SMU, out. He has been fired. He will not make it to the ACC.
Man, that's amazing.
That was after a good season this year, just 2 years for him at SMU.
And he had a good run. He had a real
last year was a scuffle, and this year was better. And it felt like they might be building something, but he won't be the beneficiary of it. It was in most of the reports. Or it was an AD decision, so he is out. He won't make it to the ACC. A lot of people wanting SMU to hire Will Wade. Will Wade seems to be the magical answer for everybody out there with an opening or a potential opening. And I just wonder through the years with what SMU's been through with the death penalty in football, even the controversy at the end of Larry Brown, if they would want to sign up for that. I think Will Wade, I don't know if he was not exonerated, but he has definitely served his punishment. He was punished. He was fired at LSU and humiliated, but he got back this year with McNeese. But we'll see if SMU has quite the appetite for that, because it is pretty high. It is very highbrowed academically, and you just wonder with their kind of ghost of the past if they would want to sign up with that for that again.
Yeah, Brett, do you think if they do get him, it can immediately make a big turnaround with SMU?
I do, and that's one of the bigger reasons why they might do it.
Yeah,
because they want to win, and they don't want to go into the ACC limping.
Yeah, man, and I do agree with you on that. I feel like he for sure can hit the ground running and for sure change the program. And also, we already know how the game is right now. You know, he's going to use the transfer portal, get his guys in, and of course, hit the ground running with recruitment if they do. Yeah. So like nowadays, Brett, like you know this, being around programs, being around Ole Miss, being around programs, and instantly seeing that you can for sure turn a team around in a year, in just an off season.
And almost expected to do it in 2 years.
Yes, I for sure like
Rob Lanier didn't. He got 2 years. I don't think fair, but sometimes college sports and life's not fair.
And this just the way it is, man.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah, and everybody just want right now. They want quick results, man, and of course with them moving up, man. So like they want it now, man. They want it now. They want to hit the ground running. So I understand why they let him go, but I also understand like being in his position. He thought he'd get a little longer, but this is just not the way of the game, man.
No, it's not. A lot of games in progress. We'll give you the finals first. First game of the day was Michigan State, and they took care of Mississippi State fairly easily, 69-51. Not a single free throw attempted in the first half of that game.
Man, and me and
that is very not common in the SEC.
Yes, and me and John were watching the game, and it was just amazing to see, like, Mississippi State, to me, they started out very slow, and then they just start forcing a lot of shots, man. They really, I can tell sometimes they really did try to get the call, and I felt like when they was forcing it so much because they couldn't make a shot. So when they were trying to force to get to the free throw line, they couldn't. The ref was holding the whistle, so they were just letting them play, man.
And they were used to a year where in the SEC they tried to call everything.
Yeah.
If it was any contact, it was a foul. Duquesne with the upset, 11 seed Duquesne, 71-67 over BYU. I had BYU out to the Sweet 16. That won't happen. Creighton with the easy win over Akron. Akron very fortunate to get in from the MAC.
Yeah, I got that one.
In the game against Kent State. Creighton wins 77-60. Game that just started, Oregon and South Carolina just underway. Oregon with the very early 3-0 lead. Late, Arizona leads big over Long Beach State. That will be the end for Dan Monson. Fun story that ends with Arizona up by 21, 85-64 over Long Beach State. And we're watching North Carolina pretty easily handle Wagner. They're leading 54-36. 4:02 remaining in the first half, with Illinois now ahead. For a lot of the half, they had been behind. Now they've scratched ahead of Morehead State. Illinois leads 34-31. But a lot of action. We got games starting at 3:30, games tipping at 5:50, 6:10, 6:25, 6:35, 8:20, 8:40, 8:55.
A long day.
And the last game of the day, and no way it tips on time, but it's slated to start at 9:05. No way it starts on time. No way.
Hey, man. Brett, out of today, man, which game have you been most impressed with today?
Well, so far, I definitely the upset for Duquesne, and they were in control of that game most of the day against BYU. Again, I had BYU in the Sweet 16, so I'm really surprised by that one. I was a little surprised at the physicality imposed by Michigan State onto Mississippi State. I had Michigan State winning that game. Remember when we did our picks, I said to my bully friends, I'm going to make them all mad at me. And I've got Mississippi State friends, but I just didn't think, especially after last weekend, to get ready for that and to get ready to play Tom Izzo. And with that win today, Tom Izzo all-time improves in the NCAA tournament against the SEC
Yeah.
to 11-1.
Man.
He's not scared of SEC.
He's not. He's not. And John made a point early on the show. There was a caller who said, "Man, nobody's scared of SEC," and you can for sure tell that SEC. Me and you were talking like they've been good this year. They haven't been great.
SEC's been good.
They haven't been great.
And
but
that's all I touted them as all year. Never great. I don't have a SEC team in my Final Four.
Yeah.
I have Tennessee in the Elite Eight. I have Kentucky in the Elite Eight. And I wasn't so sure about either one of those.
Yeah, because
But I got them there.
Yeah, I got them there too. But a lot of times you don't know what you're going to get, man, especially when you're talking about Tennessee. That game was very disappointing to see, man. And what you're going to get, man, I'm really looking forward to Tennessee really coming back. I think they play on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Tennessee.
They play tonight?
No, Tennessee plays tomorrow.
Yeah, they play.
No, I'm sorry. Tennessee plays tonight.
Yeah, they play tonight.
8:20 tonight.
Yeah, they play tonight, so I'm really looking forward to Tennessee really playing, man.
They got to win tonight if they're gonna play Saturday.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them play today, man. Hopefully we see some. Hopefully we see Don Connect just go out there and do his thing.
All year, I didn't carry the flag of the SEC.
You haven't.
It's great. I thought it was really good, and I said real wide, not very deep.
Yeah,
a little bit like the Big Ten image template that it's had. And I mentioned the SEC hadn't won it since 2012. Big Ten hadn't won it since Izzo won it in 2000. So, I don't need a whole lot of spiking the ball dunking on the SEC by the Big Ten. But he got that win today, and that 11-1 record speaks volumes.
Yes, man.
It does.
It really do. Brett, one game I have been very impressed with is North Carolina. They really show their dominance, even though
they should.
Wagner. Not trying to say it like that. Wagner, they're a good story. They're a good team to be in. But they did what but they did what they were supposed to do, man. They really played real great defense on them. Right now, Wagner shooting 36% from the field. And it's just showing that defense they playing on them, like they're really doing what they're supposed to do. And that's one of the reasons I picked them to go all the way.
Wagner just hit a 3 to get it to a 12-point deficit, and they will have to make a lot of threes. Here's the prescription for that shocking upset, that 13, 14, 15, 16 seed upset. Make about 10 to 11 threes, only turn it over about 9, 10, 11 times, and shoot 75% from the free throw line with a bunch of attempts.
Yeah. I agree.
Then hang on for dear life.
I agree because
and hope midnight strikes.
Yeah, and I agree. Especially when you're coming in as an underdog, like you're saying. You got to come out and you got to swing hard. You got to come out swing. You got to make sure you stand your ground. You got to make sure that you show that I'm not scared. And the other team, they ain't gonna take you lightly. Well, they might take you lightly, but
you
it's
better
up
hope they do.
Yeah, you better hope they take you lightly, but. It's on you. You got to see the blood in the water first.
But in the history of Wagner's basketball program, this is no shot. This is just the truth. In the history of Wagner's basketball program, there was not a single player that's ever played there that North Carolina wanted. Not one.
Hey, I agree. And that's nothing against Wagner,
no,
like you said. That's nothing against Wagner. It's just we all hear about it's levels to this, and it really is levels to this because
budgets matter.
Yeah, budgets matter, and a lot of times, Brett, like me, when you have the right budget, you can get the right player.
It's an amazing correlation, isn't it?
Yeah, when you have the right budget, you can get the right player. So Wagner, this is a real good exposure for them to be out here, but at the end of the day, we knew who.
They got them a tournament win Tuesday night.
Yeah, they did.
That's something they can be very proud of. We're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The factory direct pricing on swimming pools right now, on spas, on patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also special pricing, all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pools, tables, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Let me set our lineup for you. We will have Steve Macy from the Showboats, a little deviation from all the basketball talk. We'll talk spring football boat style with Steve Macy, and that's the first of every Thursday from now through, we hope, a championship game for the Memphis Showboats that we will visit with Steve Macy talking the UFL. At 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spa Track and the front office show on all things NBA. We'll look at scores and updates from around the country in the NCAA tournament. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston on the Tigers and his thoughts on tournament play that's unfolded so far today. At 5:30, what's trending? Catch up on anything around the sports world, like the firing of Rob Lanier at SMU. And at 5:45, we'll round it out with Taco Bell Crunch Time. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design. And when you get that, that makes for a luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
All right, Johnny, my top story is this. It's underway. Let the madness begin. And it has started. Michigan State already a big winner over the Bullies. Duquesne. Remember the other day on the True or False? Has Duquesne ever been to a Final Four?
Yes, I do.
They went in 1940.
Oh.
That was Peach Basket era, wasn't it? That was real short.
Yes, it was. Short and sweet.
And a Peach Basket era. They were a Final Four participant in 1940, and that was the second NCAA tournament ever held. Today was their first NCAA tournament win since 1969 when they beat St. Joe's, and then they lost and had to play a regional third-place game. Yeah, consolation games in the regionals back then, and they beat St. John's. So this first win since St. John's, but first without a loss since beating St. Joe. That's a lot of Saints in there. Zany consolation games back in the lower brackets in that era. 9 and 11 seeds already winners. We know more's coming. We already know it's already started. And in a year that feels like it's wide open, except for maybe UConn going for the repeat, I'm not surprised. Almost no upset would stun me anymore. When the 16 got it for the first time a few years ago with Virginia going down, and then again last year, well, for a 15 to do it or a 14 to do it, and for sure those 13s, that doesn't surprise me. This year feels wide open, and I said it this year. We always talk about how soft the bubble is. Doesn't every year feel wide open now in a soft bubble? It feels like that almost every year.
And my top story is, like you said, it's finally here. March Madness, it have become, man. And seeing North Carolina out here, man, seeing South Carolina, seeing Creighton, and seeing Arizona beating Long Beach State, they're currently beating them. This really do feel like March, man. And and this is my first time really into it, Brett. So I love it, man. I love everything about it, man. I love all of the madness, man, and I'm here for it, man.
Where's my red pen?
Hey, Brett, wait 1 second.
Where's my red pen, Johnny? Here it is.
Hey, Brett, me and you are on the same page. I got my red pen, too.
I already have two very ugly X's on my... You got two X's on yours.
I got two. Hey, Brett,
I got two with one team, though.
Hey, Brett, we're like twins. Both got red marks on our sheets.
I get that everywhere I go. You look just like Johnny Hill, Brett. I get that. We both wear glasses.
Yes, we
both have old sweaters.
Yes. I love it, man.
Not top story of the day.
Oh, Johnny, that's great. The good games in Dayton, they were just good games. But I don't want any more expansion of the tournament. I don't think another team really needs to be in. Colorado and Colorado State, they're advancing. I don't think either will go deep. Let's keep some regular season sanctity because we start college basketball, and it's kind of the devil in the details and almost the monster that the tournament that's become. We start on opening night talking first four, last four, bracketology, and I'm fine by it. And I mentioned the other day that, and I get scared of it every year, Johnny. Are we doing too much? Because it's a lot of math. Yeah. It's a lot of numbers and net and, the quad.
A lot goes into it.
Quad 2 and quad 7 and quad 19. And I get scared every year, when we're trying to tell something to the listener out there, to our audience that we so treasure, is that too much math for them? If we add more teams, nobody's going to care about the November game between Alabama and Stetson.
Yeah,
or
right.
Or Arkansas and UNC Greensboro, the Tigers and Virginia. Now, those fans will, but writ large for the body politic of sport, college basketball has already kind of nichified itself a little bit down to this great tournament. But I got a theory about niche sports. I think everything in this country right now, except for the NFL and college football, everybody else is a niche sport. But you don't want to make it worse, and I'm afraid if we add these tournaments, or if we add expansion to the NCAA tournament, it will make it that way. If we do add to the NCAA tournament, then we got to cut those conference tournaments down, that everybody doesn't come. You got to cut it down to that 6 or 8 in your conference you think is going to advance to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. And despite that, it is college basketball, and we're in March Madness, and I love this time of the season, really being a part of it. But my not top story is Draymond Green. Just seeing him get into it with Desmond Bane yesterday, and really seeing
Put
him
his hands on Santi Aldama.
Yeah. That's how it really just started. It started with Santiago Dogma, him and Draymond really going back and forth. Then they're talking up the field. Then Desmond Bane got involved. Then next you know, Taylor Jenkins, he's on the ground, him and Gary Payton. So it was just all unnecessary to see that, especially the Warriors. They are a dangerous team, but you just don't want that.
Green went to counseling and got cured of all this.
I don't think it's working, bro.
I don't think it took.
I don't think it's working, man.
I don't think it took. That's our top and not top story. We do want you to be a part of our show at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and phone line. All our guests will appear on that number, 901-360-8255, on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. When we come back, we will talk Showboats Ball, UFL 2024 style, and it will start every Thursday through, we hope, all the way a championship with Steve Macy.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders' team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I what makes Melinda so good. That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We Gossett $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R7, $24,7640, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a mess out here where this truck flipped earlier. It's still out here. It's going to be out here for a while on Jackson Avenue, laying over on its, looks like right side here, right over I-40 in the Midtown area, causing all kinds of confusion and some problems as traffic increases even more now on I-40 up by Chelsea. Yes, they continue to work on 55 there on the bridge. Hey, Reimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We are getting close to year 2, which is really year 4 of the Memphis Showboats. We took a long time off last year when I was at that first boat win. I said, Steve Macy, I said, it's been 35 years in between wins, and it sure feels good. Steve Macy joins us now from the Memphis Showboats. You can follow Steve Macy on Twitter at Steve Macy. He's got a big title because he is in charge of a lot. Senior Director of Team Business and Event Operations. Steve Macy, how are you? Happy March Madness.
Thank you. Thanks for reading my title. I have to remember it. I have to look it up every time someone asks exactly what it is. So the reminder's helpful. Thanks.
Somebody asked me today, said, what are you having on? I said, having Steve Mason on. They said, yeah, what is this title? I said, I don't know. I have to look it up every time right before I do the introduction. I just know he's in charge of everything. If he goes well, he gets all the credit. If it goes bad, he blames New York.
No. There's the blame always stops with me, and the credit goes elsewhere. I can promise you that.
That's right.
That's all right.
That's what the great ones do. Steve, before we get into Showboats, Johnny and I during the break were talking about just the fun memories. And your school, I think I know you love the Tigers. You've worked a lot of places, but you really have an affinity for New Mexico State. That's correct?
I do. Yep. It was a special time in our life as a family. The kids grew up there. My youngest was born there. It was a neat play.
Yeah, I knew that. So the other day, I like having fun with Johnny and Bryant, and I'll throw out true or false. have they ever been to the Final Four? And I said, New Mexico. And I think one said yes, one said no. I said, it's no. But New Mexico State did with Lou Henson back in the day, didn't they?
They did, yep. Lou Henson, before his time at Illinois, was a long-time New Mexico State head coach, and he had a pipeline into Chicago.
Yeah, with Jimmy
and
Collins.
He went and got some dudes.
Yeah.
And they could play, and he was not hesitant to get the best possible player in every position and coach just crazy good defense.
He did, and Lou Henson, a great coach, and I went to a Final Four even with the Illini with Kendall Gill and company. I know you're busy. That big, long title, that means right now you're burning the midnight oil getting prepared for the season to begin for the team and for the home opener. First on the road, and then the home opener on Saturday, April 6th.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's been a lot of fun. That big April 6th game at 11 o'clock against San Antonio Brahmas. And Wade Phillips, which is a name a lot of folks know, he's their head coach. And we're excited to have that home opener. Of course, we start the season on Easter Sunday in Houston. I'm glad I'm not having to market an Easter Sunday home game. So I'm very, very happy we're starting the road that week. But it's getting here. But it's right on top of us, and excited to have our second season back getting underway. It's really it's been an interesting thing. This is the first time, you're talking about 30-year gaps. This is the first time we've had a second season of professional football in Memphis since that time. And I think it's just a testament to, what's going on in spring football in the United Football League, that this is year 3 of the USFL, if you will. They're half of it, and then year 2 of the XFL, and so combined in the UFL and built for the long term. I'm really excited that, we're part of this, and that Memphis is one of the 8 cities in the whole country that gets an opportunity to have spring football.
Well, I think it's a testament to the hard work y'all put in last year, because we know what moves corporate offices is success, and you had it last year. You can tell. If you were out there, you could sure feel that great vibe. I did. Now you say that, and I think about it. You're right, boy. We had a lot of swings and misses, and didn't have many year 2s.
And I think that, probably it's because it wasn't structured in a way that was built for long-term success. And I think that's the difference now. And it's the one thing that I try to relay as often as possible, is that this is not going to be another stop and start. This is a start and stay. The Memphis Showboats are going to be, they're going to be rolling. And that's, we adopted Tina Turner's version of that song last year, and we like that. And I think that's what the Showboats are, and that's what it's going to be for this community. And we've got a chance to embrace professional football in this town. And, it's a challenge, and it's also an opportunity for us. St. Louis is, in a way, kind of the bell tower of this league right now. Mm-hmm. They are selling season tickets like gangbusters, and it's because that community has said, look, we've been burned by the NFL. We've been burned by their thing. We're going to get behind this as our team. And I think that's, what I'm trying to get out to our fan base as well, is that, hey, this is our team. This is a chance for us to have a piece of professional football and adopt it, and to say, hey, look, we want Memphis to be what St. Louis is right now. We want Memphis to be the shining light in the league that everybody looks to and says, we want to look like that.
And Steve, you're right. St. Louis really took it, as an affront. Not once, but twice, the second time the NFL bailed on. When we went up there for the PGA Championship in 2018, it was palpable. They were talking it openly, expressing it. We want to nail this to show everybody. We have the Cardinals, we have the Blues, we have good area college teams, but we want to show people we're big league. We want to show that NFL. And I don't know that Memphis quite as burned as St. Louis, but we've had a lot of football teams through the years. But the Showboats, it's got a root.
It does now, and I think that's what's important for, if there's anything that I could say that anybody would take back with them besides buying tickets, it's that we're not going anywhere. With, Fox owns half of this league still. They backed the USFL when it resurged 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and that commitment to this programming long term is there. And you combine Fox with ESPN as the broadcast partners, and you have created, you basically have taken the two biggest leaders in sports production and said, let's make this thing work. We want to make this work. And I think when you combine those things and you look at the markets that we're in, there are places that could use a little more football. And I think Memphis is one of those. And that's what we've got to prove this spring like we did last spring.
And Steve, when you talk about it, I'm really going to be tuning into this Memphis Showboats team because they got a lot of NFL talent and a lot of great high production type of players. One, for instance, is TJ Green, who played at Clemson and also who had a stint with the Panthers and the Saints. And another guy like Rashard Davis, who's a Super Bowl champion. So talk about this roster because y'all really done a real great job of constructing this roster.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job, and Coach DiFilippo had brought a tremendous amount of success last year with the New Orleans franchise. They went 7-3, went toe-to-toe with the eventual champion Birmingham Stallions in that playoff game in Birmingham Stadium, and he brought a lot of those guys into the Showboats fold. Plus, they went out and just killed it in the free agency, getting the guys, the guys you're mentioning, but also, you got Case Cookus, who was the MVP of the league 2 years ago and was in the championship game. You add in, Cardinal Lake is back as the defensive coordinator, and the defense last year was phenomenal, and he's got weapons all over the place. And I think it's just I think I've been so impressed with the way they've evaluated talent and gone about saying, let's load this roster with tons of offensive and defensive weapons that I think we're going to be really, really fun to watch.
Steve, I don't know anybody that probably knows the physical plant footprint, every nook and cranny of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium any better than you do. I bet I could tell you how many actual rear ends can be in section whatever, and you can tell me through your time at the University of Memphis. And last year I'm out there early on opening day, and you were showing league officials around. I mean, you know that place well, and now it's going through a much needed transformation with what's going to be spent on it. What will be your capacity, and tell us the kind of the pricing structure for those tickets.
So, one, we are 100% supportive of everything the university's doing on the stadium plans. It's going to be such an amazing place to call home for all of us, from all the tenants that have a chance to call Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium home. So, that's the first thing. And yes, there's going to be a couple of years of construction that, have you jumping around and moving from place to place. But we decided early on as an organization that our support was going to include that we're just going to get out of the way. And so we've moved everybody over to the east side, and we're only going to seat fans on the east side this year, so that if they want to start construction tomorrow, if they want to start construction next week, whenever it's going to be feasible for them to start, we didn't want to be the reason that they couldn't start because of how we configured the stadium. So we're going to sit on just the one side. I know it's not everybody's favorite side to be on because of the sun. Unless it's cold, then it's really great to be over there in the sun. But I think that's the right thing to do for the city. And we decided we're going to be great city partners. And so that's why we've decided that. Season tickets start at $100. You can get tickets at DUFL.com, DUFL.com. It's going to be a fun 5-game home schedule starting on April 6th. But, in the future, as construction plans and construction starts, we'll evaluate what's in the best interest of the fan base and the stadium project and the Showboats, and probably reconfigure another time if we need to.
Steve, what should the fans be expecting on opening night coming from the Memphis Showboats against San Antonio? What should fans be expecting on opening night?
Well, we're going to have fun again. I think that was the one thing that I heard from people is that they had a really good time when they went to the games. Win or lose, they had a great time. We're going to do more of that. For the home opener, we've got a couple special things planned. We're going to have a high school band with us that day. We're going to have a giant American flag. We'll have a great anthem singer, one of my favorites in town. We've got a special giveaway that we've got planned that's a little bit on the QT right now, but it'll be revealed later. So that's kind of a little breaking news that we're going to do something neat and fun. Overall, we're going to have a festive atmosphere. We'll have fireworks during the game and during the anthem. It's just going to be one of those games where you say, hey, you're going to walk out of there first with the Showboat victory. Secondly, saying, I had a blast with my family, my friends, by myself. I just had a good time.
Good, clean family fun. That's what we want to have with the Showboats in year 2. Did you know Bum Phillips, or did you know Wade Phillips is from Texas?
I did.
You'd never know it, would you?
No, you couldn't tell.
I think Wade Phillips and his father, Bum Phillips, they personify Texas, don't they?
They do. Now, when I was a kid, part of my growing up time was in Houston during the Love You Blue era.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a big Bum Phillips fan, and my favorite football player of all times is Earl Campbell, followed closely behind by Barry Sanders. So, yeah, it's neat to see Wade still coaching, and I know there's a huge number of Cowboys fans in this market, and he's got, he's had some great success with the Cowboys, and I'm excited that we've got some great coaches in this league. I love our coach, obviously, but seeing a guy like Wade continuing to coach and to continue to excel is a really neat thing.
Football lifer. Steve, I know through all the transformation, renovation, remodeling through the years of the stadium, for you that knows it so well, and for Johnny Hill that knows it very well too, as a student manager for Coach Silverfield's staff for several years, can you believe once upon a time in the day, both locker rooms were in the south end zone side by side each other?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, Steve, a lot of Ole Miss, Memphis, Tennessee, Liberty Bowl games. There was something going on in that hallway.
I would imagine that there was a lot of words you couldn't say on the radio and keep your job very long happening in that locker room space.
And when they finally got that the visitor north end zone, that really was a show place. But we all know how fast this has moved in the sports world in the locker room areas. Up to keep up, you have to almost tear down and rebuild every 2 or 3 years.
I agree. Yep.
And what the Tigers did when Coach Norvell was here and partnered with the city on making that home locker room something special is pretty remarkable. They took out the tunnel and made it all one big locker room, basically with coaches' offices all the way around that south end of the stadium underneath the stands is that locker room facility from, one end zone or one part of the end zone all the way to the other end. And it's got, the taping station for the athletic trainers all the way to coaches' locker room and showers on the other. And the lockers are spectacular. The room itself is set up. The lighting's neat. The garage door that pops open and allows the home team to come running out. It is a first-class home locker room. And, at some point in time, they'll probably say, okay, this is time to renovate this thing. But right now, it is still a very, very special place. And folks that haven't had a chance to see it, it's too bad because it is really something that I think it's been a good thing for the Tigers to recruit to. I know it's been a great thing for the Showboats players. Last year, they were extremely spoiled being in there and enjoyed every minute they got to spend in that locker room.
Steve, thank you so much for your time. Next week when you join us, it will be game week.
Game week, baby. I love it.
That's great, isn't it? Thank you, Steve.
Hey.
Steve Macy with us from the Memphis Showboats. And before we go to the break, I want to tell you about the commissary. Either location, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown, perfect for any big group that wants to game, watch, and gather and enjoy all these games. Watch the NCAA tournament and do it at the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. Plenty of room in Germantown, but more room in Collierville. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the slow-cooked Memphis way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese platter, the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, then build to the barbecue nachos, a staple of sport everywhere now, invented, created in the early 80s by Walker Taylor and his great team. A week from today, March 28th, is the deadline to order the hams for the Easter holiday weekend. You need to get your order in now. You can go to the website, commissarybbq.com, and find out more. You can always call 901-754-5540. Make it easy on the person preparing all the food for the holiday weekend. Let the commissary do it. You can always dig into the ribs, the shoulder, chopped or pulled, all the sides, the desserts, all so great. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com. They're in Collierville and Germantown, the great party areas, orders to go. catering, if you're in town for the NCAA tournament, hit it up at either spot and enjoy it. For any season, tailgating, basketball, any time of the year, the commissary is ideal. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com. When we return, Johnny and I will look at the scoreboard, catch up on some things, talk NCAA tournament, but the games here in Memphis. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Hello?
Hey, little sis. Did you get your W-2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, you know last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is coming to Genesis Diamonds. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Genesis is hosting an epic pre-owned luxury Rolex event featuring a stunning new selection of these hard-to-find watches. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, all the hottest models that people wait years for. These are carefully chosen timepieces in pristine condition. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing. And listen to this. With the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a beautiful pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. That's a $4,000 value. Also for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site offering top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in the state and take advantage of our special financing and get a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings free. It's this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Poplar and Perkins Extended. While supplies last, see store for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Brian is out today. We hope he's back with us tomorrow. Johnny Hill with me, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. And, Johnny, I've already got the yellow highlighter out and moved North Carolina along. They win 90-62. No big shocker there. Arizona the same. 2-seed Arizona big over Long Beach State, 85-65. That's the most recent finals. Earlier finals, Michigan State over Mississippi State, 69-51. Duquesne, 71-67. The 11-seeded Dukes defeat BYU. Creighton, 77-60 over the Zips of Akron. Games going on right now. Very early portion of the game for Dayton. They lead 9-4 against Nevada. They haven't even hit the 16-minute media timeout mark of the first half. Right before halftime, Oregon leads big over South Carolina. I had Oregon advancing. If you think people are coming at the SEC after losing the first game, they really will if by 5 o'clock today, 6 o'clock today, two teams from the SEC already out. That won't surprise me. I had Oregon moving along. They lead 32-23 now, right before halftime against South Carolina. Illinois and Morehead State in a great game. At the under 16-minute media timeout, Morehead State leads 45-44 over Illinois. We will keep you up to date. A lot of games tonight and full day tomorrow, including in downtown Memphis at FedEx Forum, where I will be all day tomorrow for 2 games in the afternoon session and 2 tomorrow night, and I look forward to it. My first NCAA tournament I ever went to was at the Coliseum, 1984, and the Tigers were in it. Very different NCAA tournament. In fact, the Tigers were the lesser seed. They were a worse seed than Gene Cady and Purdue, and got to play them here in a full home court advantage, and the Tigers were better. I don't think that was the full difference in the game, but they bounced Purdue out of that tournament, and Gene Cady stayed enraged for years. Now, the Tigers got that payback 2 years later when they had to go down to a regional final, a ticket punch to the Final Four. At least in 84, it was first weekend. In 86, they had to go to Baton Rouge and play LSU at Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and I don't want to complain about the referees, but some shaky calls that day and a buzzer beater for LSU, and the Tigers may have won it all that year if that hadn't happened. But then the NCAA tournament didn't come back to Memphis again after 84 until 1995, and it was this weekend. The first weekend at the Pyramid went then came right back in 97, same thing, first weekend, and then came back in 2001, first weekend at the Pyramid, and I was at all those. Then no more NCAA tournaments until FedEx Forum, and then it was the next weekend, the ticket punching to the Final Four weekend. And I sent a text yesterday. I got to correct this to Jason Mons. I told him I'd been to every NCAA tournament game ever in Memphis. I did not go in 2009. I've got to correct that with him. My mother was very, very ill that spring, and I couldn't squeeze basketball in that year. And North Carolina was here, went to the Final Four, and they won it. Then they're back here in 17 and did the same thing in a great win over Duke. And we also had a regional round in 2014. So I've been to every NCAA tournament game except for 3 in Memphis. I missed the 2 games in 2009 and then the Sunday afternoon game in 2009. But I was plenty busy. But I'm glad they're not letting teams have that kind of advantage at home. That was wrong for the Tigers, and it was really wrong for LSU.
I agree, man. Very wrong.
But the tournament has changed and evolved over the years, and we may be into more teams. It feels like another Dayton is going to happen, but I hope not. I want to keep somebody mad over not getting in.
Hey.
I'd rather have too little than too many.
Hey, I agree with that, though. I'd rather have too little than too many.
We may even see that in college football. Hour 1 in the books. When we come back, we start Hour 2 talking NBA with Keith Smith.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They just now uprighted this truck here in the Midtown area that has been laid over on its right side for a couple of hours. It still has it shut down on Jackson Avenue over I-40 here in the Midtown area. Again, trying to avoid this area for a little bit longer. Still running a little bit slow from an earlier crash we had on Billmore, Parkway 385, going outbound out there around Riverdale. That seems like it's taken a while to clean up as well. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
It's that time, and Keith Smith indeed joins us, as the intro says. Happy March Madness, Keith Smith. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been a fun start to the day. Two of the best days of the year on the sports calendar.
No question about it. We were talking earlier, and no argument there. Everybody loves these 2 days. Do you think it really is the love of these 2 days with a sprinkle of a good way to kind of play around at work with your bracket and watching TV and going to the break room?
Yeah, without a doubt.
No doubt.
For a lot of years, I might have had a handful of conference calls on a Thursday afternoon that took me away from the office for a little bit, and it might have been some closing the door and putting the games on the computer. I'm not going to lie about that.
No doubt about it. We were just talking about Bryant's out today. He had that bug hit him today and had to be out. And we were talking earlier in the week of all the people, of all the excuses of people playing hooky today and tomorrow, and then Bryant really is a legitimate late scratch on the DL.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to. I had a guy who worked for me. When I worked for Disney for so many years, and there was one year he called out on the Thursday of March Madness, and he had sent me an email. He knew I was already off. I had taken the days off, and he's like, "I'm really sorry. I have to call out." And I was like, "Yeah, March Madness sickness." And he goes, "No, actually," he goes, "I'm actually really sick."
Yeah, nobody believes it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it went.
Nobody believes it. Through the years, when you watch the tournament, Keith, I know you always. It's like people ask me when do I do preparation? Every waking moment, anything I can take in, I do it. Do you watch it more fandom, having your bracket, or are you watching it for the draft? Are you watching it for work, or is it all just one big melting pot?
Yeah, it's a little bit of the melting pot. It's for the most part now. I've transitioned into I'm watching more for all right. What is this guy going to do? And I generally tend to want to see the main draft prospects that I maybe haven't seen as much throughout the year. I want to see them make the runs. I want to see them last for 3, 4, 5, maybe even this full 6-game run in the tournament. But there is a part of me though that if for example, if we find out, Team X is, a high seed with a bunch of draft prospects, they're down to a 14 or 15 seed, but the fandom kicks in and I start rooting for the underdog to pull the upset for sure.
And with that, in this year's tournament, what are some players that can really move up and make a lot of money with a big NCAA tournament, and who could potentially fall with an early exit or a bad tournament?
Yeah, it's an interesting draft class, and I think one of the guys who's near the top, Cody Williams, playing for Colorado, he's just working his way back from an injury, but he had a rough game in the first 4 games. Now, they managed to advance, but we're going to see if he doesn't show well against Florida, you're going to leave, and if they lose, you're going to leave that last kind of taste in everybody's mouth is this guy got hurt and then didn't play well. So that's going to be something. That's always going to be the last tape that scouts have. And then, if you look at a team like Duke, a guy like Kyle Filipowski or Jared McCain, those guys they're high on people's draft boards, but there's going to be people looking at them saying, yeah, but, I don't know how high do I have you? Where do I really, see where this goes? If they get knocked out early or they play poorly, that could be something that hurts. On the flip side, you have, if they play really well, you can see these guys start to establish themselves as, hey, you saw me play well on a big stage with millions of people watching. I came through, and that sometimes can boost a guy. One of the funniest things that I had, story that I got told was from someone in a front office, and that multiple others have confirmed this, is one of the worst things you could do is these guys spend all year prepping for the NBA draft, and then the owner sees some kid make a NCAA tournament run their last 4 or 5 games, and then they're like, hey, what about this kid? I like this kid. And they said the only thing's worse is if he does it for the owner's alma mater.
No doubt about it. That is the truth. And along those lines, a story similar to that had a person tell me in the 2018 draft when Jaren Jackson came out, the Grizzlies were drafting 4. They knew they'd be way up there. They didn't know the exact slot that year, but they knew they'd be way up there with how the ping pong ball shook out. But that year, Michigan State and Jaren went out in the second round, and I think Jaren scored like 4 points, just had a really bad game. That the Grizzlies draft people fine with them because they knew DeAndre Ayton was going one. They knew Luka Doncic would go ahead of Jaren, but thought it might be some Marvin Bagley, Jaren Jackson conversation. They knew after that day. They said, "We got him. He'll be when we draft."
Yeah, nothing that a scout loves more with a kid that they're absolutely sold on. If they have kind of a rough game, especially if they have a pick that's a little further down, because you start feeling like, all right, we're going to get it. That was one of the things with Stephen Curry. You heard a lot of teams that have come out and were like, yeah, we were kind of interested in him, and then he went on this run in the tournament. We're never going to get him now. There's no chance we're going to get this kid, and there's a lot of stories like that throughout the years. There are a couple guys like Wally Zerbiak, Doug McDermott back in the day. Those guys had a couple runs that people were like, man, they're gonna play themselves out of our draft range if we're low enough down the draft board.
Who's the biggest soup of the day, heat of the moment, got drafted way too soon off a NCAA tournament run?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not trying to pick on y'all there in Memphis, but Hasheem Thabeet, he became a real, kind of flavor of the moment. Now,
the owner fell in love with him.
Prospect. Yeah, he was a high draft prospect, too, because he was so big, and everybody's always looking for size. I would say a guy like Bryant Reeves, if we go way back, big country.
That was Grizzlies,
too. He had a couple moments. Yeah.
2 for 1.
Yeah, another Grizzly. And I remember Eric Dampier was another guy who played himself, up the draft board, never quite really panned out. It seems to be big guys. There's still, a lot of teams, even as the game changes, a lot of teams are still, well, you can't teach size. You got to draft size, and that can sometimes come back to bite you.
In that draft, the year of Hasheem, I've got it in front of me. Blake Griffin, of course, went one. I don't think anybody can really challenge that. Hasheem,
no argument.
Hasheem Thabeet, 2. There's a lot of discussion there. James Harden, 3. Tyreek Evans, 4. Ricky Rubio, 5. Johnny Flynn, 6. Steph Curry, 7. Jordan Hill, 8. DeMar DeRozan, 9. Keith, I can tell you pretty much for a certainty, if it hadn't have been Hasheem Thabeet, it was probably going to be Tyreek, and also they thought could cash in and sell tickets off of Tyreek after he had played here 1 year.
Yeah, and that's another thing you get too. I mean, my dad remembers the days of the territorial draft and those kind of things. But
that's how y'all got Larry Bird.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bob Cousy, when they did the dispersal draft, is one of the more famous because it was, he's a Holy Cross kid, so given with the Celtics, and that worked out okay. But it was, I think one of the things that happens a lot with teams is they do get pressure to pick the local kid because everybody knows them, and then if the kid can play, everybody wants them. And sometimes you have these scouts that they'll tell you, we don't want anything to do with them, but we're under pressure. That tends to more happen late first round, early second round, those kind of things. But there does that become that local pressure for sure.
Keith, where do you see some of these Kentucky guys going, like Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, who won Sixth Man of the Year in the SEC, and DJ Wagner? They were top prospects coming out of high school, a lot of 5-star prospects and 4-stars. Where do you see them going in this up-and-coming draft?
Yeah, I think you're going to see both of those two guys, barring something really unexpected. They're going to be top 10 picks, potentially even top 5. The challenge with this particular draft class is we have so many kids coming in that they're not playing college basketball. We've got a lot of international players. There's a lot of G League Ignite guys, which I don't know if you guys saw. The NBA just came out and announced that's it for the G League Ignite. This is the last one that they're going to have. So, that ends that experiment for the league. But we're going to see some guys get fairly highly drafted out of the Ignite. So now we're into a spot where it's, with college players, some of the guys, people are thinking, was it that they're not very good, or is it that there's just this other talent coming in? But if Kentucky goes on a run, we know they're guards. They're going to be a big reason why. In Dillingham and Shepherd, those are two guys who, the more I watch, they've moved up my draft board. And they've pretty much moved up everybody's draft board to the point where now I know a lot of teams, they've got them both in the top 5, and I think that may be where they end up finishing out.
Yeah, and Keith, through the years, you see teams that fall in love with someone. You're seeing a lot of mock drafts with Dillingham there in that Grizzly spot. They might be falling in love with him.
Yeah, it could be, and I think one of the things that people start to look at now in the NBA is, as long as you can defend, there's no longer teams feel like, well, we've got John Morant. We can't possibly draft another point guard. Why you do that is teams are very comfortable playing multiple ball handlers and multiple attacking players at the same time, as long as you can craft a good enough defense. So as long as you can hold up on that end of the floor, maybe being a little bit smaller, it's just fine. So, yeah, I mean, you could definitely see that. I think, the single biggest thing that's maybe changed in my lifetime with the NBA draft is it used to be teams would draft for need. I mean, that's why Michael Jordan flipped to 3, is because the Trailblazers were, well, we've got this Drexler kid, and we need a center. Let's go take Sam Bowie. And that's changed now. Teams don't really draft for need. It's about we're going to take the best player available, and you know what? We'll figure it out with everything. These rosters change so rapidly in the NBA that you're not going to worry about it if guys overlap positionally.
Keith, you mentioned Red Auerbach. I know you and your family's affinity for him and what he did for the Boston Celtics. Heard a great Red Auerbach story today. In any workplace around lunchtime, group of guys or colleagues, women as well, getting ready to go to lunch, and you kind of throw it around, hey, where you want to go? And everybody kind of has a vote in it. Anytime with the Celtics, they were getting ready to go to a big lunch group, and they would invite Red Auerbach along. Hey, Coach, where do you want to go? They always went to Chinese. He loved it and would always go to Chinese restaurants.
Yeah, that's very famous. There's a handful of places around the Boston area who, their claim to fame was Red Auerbach, loved to eat here. And there's a lot of talks about how in the latter years when he was still working for the team, but he had moved to Washington. And there was a lot
he
of
owned a place.
And there was a lot of talk of if you were going to meet with Red in Washington, you were going to meet at a Chinese restaurant. That's just how it was going to be.
He owned a restaurant near where the Wizards play now, and the neighborhood is affectionately, belovingly known as Chinatown, and he owned a restaurant there. Yeah, I mean, there are, there's a million stories. My favorite stories with Red Auerbach, or, when we on the basketball side, where they would talk about how with Larry Bird he started prepping a year in advance that we're going to draft this kid, we're going to draft him, because back then you could draft a kid and everybody kind of forgets he drafted Larry Bird and then had to get him to agree to sign before the next draft because Bird went back to school, and it was we got to get him to agree to sign, otherwise he goes back into the draft again. And then his famously he talked about he spent 2 years angling to try to get himself in a position to draft Len Bias. And we all know, the tragedy that unfolded there, but just unbelievable, the eye for talent he had at a point. I mean, then, the trades after getting Bird to get McHale and Parrish, which were, I've read so many books where people are like, what is this guy thinking? What does he see in this Parrish kid? And this McHale kid better pan out. He traded a lot of guys and all these things, and they just all seem to work out. I know how much you like Larry Bird, love Larry Bird, your favorite player ever. You've told us. There's the legendary sports memorabilia, out in the whole world of memorabilia. There are some things that are, just impossible to get a hold of, like the Gutenberg Bible. And then, in the baseball card collection world, anything with Honus Wagner. I read an article that there's almost none. There's not a single photo that anywhere, because he left so quickly after he got to Bloomington at IU, you can't find even in practice togs a photo of Larry Bird in Indiana Hoosier stuff.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, that he was there so briefly, on campus that, everybody was like, well, it almost like it didn't happen. And I remember, there was a comment. I remember Bobby Knight. I think he had already stopped coaching. Might have still been at Texas Tech. And one of the things that they asked him, hey, this deep into your career, you probably don't have many regrets, but are there any? And he openly says, he goes, one of them is, he goes, wish they all could have found a way to make it work with that Bird kid. Yeah. He goes, that would have been a good thing if they could have got that done. But that's just I think him kind of having a little bit of fun. But yeah, he I don't know that there was much to be found of him at that point.
He didn't make it to like picture day in October. I mean, he was gone by Labor Day.
Yeah. He was a small town kid, and even if a lot of the rest of us think of Bloomington as a smaller place, that was a little too big for him back.
That was going to Lower Manhattan for him. I mean, he really was a small town guy and a really good player from my hometown. Baseball player at Arkansas. He beat his parents back home. They took him off to Fayetteville, and he beat them back home. Ended up making it and had a good college career somewhere else, but it was too big for him. He beat them home.
Yeah, that does happen.
Keith, let's talk about Zach Edey. A lot of guys, man, when you're looking at these up-and-coming draft boards, they have him in the second round. Even you hear certain NBA players looking at him like Gilbert Arenas say he cannot play in the NBA at all, especially at that size, standing at 7'4", weighing 300 pounds. We all know he's not Wembanyama. We all know that. But where do you see Zach Edey going? Because he had a solid – some guys are just college players, but where do you see him in the next level?
Yeah, I think Zach Edey can turn into having a really good NBA career. I've seen some people move him up even into like the late lottery, like in late lottery, mid first round, maybe early 20s, and that's a little high for me. I think you're better off the more versatile you can be. But we've seen teams with this kind of recommitment to we're going to play these drop coverage schemes where we're going to do everything we can to funnel things to the one big guy, but we're just going to ask him, hey, just stay around the rim. And now NBA coaches have built these defensive systems where it's no longer, it used to be, we all have the memories of the Warriors and Rockets with the Utah Jazz of, they're going to switch Rudy Gobert and they're going to pull him out to the perimeter and he's going to be negated. Now what teams will do is they'll say, all right, you're not going to defend the other team's center to start possession. You'll start on maybe, whoever the worst shooter is, that they're just kind of stashing over there. And then that way we keep you out of pick and roll. We keep you out of the switch. And then you're able to come help boss that guy. And teams are rarely going to put that guy as the lead ball handler in a pick and roll or even as the screener. So that helps a guy like Zach Edey, where it's not so much for a little while in the NBA, it got to be, if you can't switch everything and guard and hold your own long enough until you can switch back or get help or whatever, you're not going to be able to play. I think we have seen enough of a change, and defenses have gotten smart enough that he'll find his way on the floor. I just don't know that he looks like a guy who's going to be a long-term starter, and that's where, for me, that's where the draft positioning starts to fall apart a little bit. But we'll see. He's another kid. If he has a really great tournament run and leads Purdue, who has a pretty shaky history in the NCAA tournament, he can lead them on a real run. He's somebody who could improve his draft stock.
One more from tournaments past. I do think in 2003, Marquette getting to the Final Four really let everybody know about Dwayne Wade, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you saw that run, I think even Carmelo Anthony's run to the title, that boosted him into a place where people are like, all right, this kid is for real. I think those guys, when you do have that can really help. It's just, you're seeing it more and more. And then as much as teams try to tell you, hey, we make all of our decisions based on the entire body of work, we don't let public pressure get to us at all, there is some public pressure that comes in where all of a sudden, everybody's chanting for a guy and they're like, man, if we don't pick this guy and the guy we picked doesn't end up great and this guy does, boy, we're in trouble. So that does come into play for sure.
Human beings will do human beings things, and they hear people talking. Keith Smith, our guest from Spa Track in the front office show with us every week on the NBA. Last night it got testy again between the Grizzlies and the Warriors. No love lost between those two teams. Draymond Green central to it again. Keith, I'm predicting when, not if, when Draymond Green has another big playoff public moment like that, I hope everybody doesn't act surprised by it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, what is it? A tiger can't change his stripes, right? Like it does feel like as much as he's trying, and I want to give him the benefit of his doubt. We've seen since he's come back, there's definitely teams that their whole goal is, hey, let's try to get him to blow up. Let's try to get him out of his game. And I do think he's generally done a better job than I would have expected him to, as far as, you know what, I'm gonna keep my cool. I'm not gonna get into this stuff, because I think he also knows if there's something else major that happens, we might be at, you know, last chance time here of, hey, you know, you already got the long indefinite suspension. We might turn this into, let's talk about your career now. And I think he's also got to be looking at it a little bit and saying, man, I still got $75 million left of my contract. I want to make sure I see the rest of that contract play out without giving too much of it away. But anybody who thought, you know, oh, Draymond's never going to get a technical again, he's never going to get involved in anything, it was just never going to go that way. And quite frankly, I don't know if the Warriors even want that, because some of that is what makes him the player he is.
That fire burns hot.
So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and they want him, especially at this time. How you know, they're going to have to get out of that 9-10 game. That will be some week when we get to that in a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. If it goes the way it looks like it may, where we have Phoenix, Dallas, the Lakers, and the Warriors all in that playing tournament, you know, you're going to have some really happy TV execs, but then they're going to wake up the next day saying, wait a minute, some of these teams are gone.
Where'd KD go? Where'd Doncic go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where's LeBron?
Yeah, we got one game of Steph. Like what do you mean these guys aren't around anymore? And then all of a sudden those, you know, real happy moments might turn real sad real quick. But yeah, I mean, if you could have said at the beginning of the season, hey, you're going to have this kind of star power with these teams in the play-in tournament, we all would have looked at everybody kind of sideways, saying, all right, maybe one or two of those teams is in the play-in tournament, but not the rest. But here we are.
And here we are right now. Dallas as the 7, Phoenix as the 8, the Lakers as the 9, and Golden State as the 10. And the E beside the Grizzlies after last night, we knew that was coming. Keith, enjoy the college basketball and the NBA, and we'll talk about it next week. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Enjoy the tournament.
You got it, Keith. Keith Smith, the great Keith Smith, with us every week talking the NBA and the draft and everything he does, from the contracts at Spot Track. He covers it all. And last night, indeed, the E finally by the Grizzlies. I had them getting it Monday. They saved it till Wednesday. But last night with the 47th loss, and that being to Golden State, we know the playoffs are not going to happen this year. We knew that a long time ago. And come playoff time, it's going to feel very different around here, around town even, because, 2 years ago, won a series. Won the series over Minnesota and then eliminated by Golden State with a lot that went on. I mean, that got way, way, way off the rails. And then last year, the first round exit to the Lakers. I think most fair-minded people can understand when you've been through 29 players and this many injuries that this kind of year happens. This time next year, I hope we're talking about playoff run and enjoying playoff success again.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, man, especially seeing the young guys develop, Brad. It's really been good seeing them develop, man. And I feel like the city, they should have high expectations for the Grizzlies next year. Everybody come back healthy, so I'm excited about next year.
I do too, and it's a big year. And with now, look, if they have injuries next year, we'll have to be patient again. I understand that, and I hear so many, oh, you're so hard on the Tigers. Well, they did have the Caleb Mills injury, and it affected things. But that wasn't the season did not crater because of that injury or other injuries. It was other things going on. If the Tigers had a key injury to David Jones, I wouldn't have been as
That's a different
hard
story.
about the result, and I don't think anybody else would. If Dalton Connect had gotten hurt the 1st of February, I don't think people will. It'd be a lot of ridicule of Rick Barnes. Now it will be if he doesn't advance in this tournament. And I think that is fair to do. But, this time next year, it's going to be key for the Grizzlies. Let's hope it's without injury and they're rolling along, as a 2 or 3 seed or maybe even better. But there's going to be a lot of cars to pass. That West is for keeps. Oklahoma City on top by 1 game in the all-important loss column. Denver second by 1 game in the loss column over Minnesota. Then the Clippers at 4. New Orleans at 5, Sacramento at 6, and we mentioned the potential play-in teams. Dallas trying to stay out of that, Phoenix trying to stay out of that. Play-in tournament has worked. I much prefer the play-in tournament than I did the in-season tournament.
Yeah, I prefer it as well,
But
man.
You can't take that from the Lakers, can you, Johnny?
They hung up a banner.
They did.
So
what dry? But we needed our Kleenex.
Hey,
It wasn't dry in the building, was it?
It was, man. I like, man, they hung that banner, man.
The Lakers acting like that.
Yeah, of all teams, a legendary franchise like that, just seeing them hang that up. They got an in-season tournament banner.
Legendary places to go is Jason's Deli. This group, 200 Memphis area associates for this group here in our area. There's one near you in Olive Branch, Cordova, Poplar and Highland over by the U of M, and at Ridgeway Road across from MUS. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. Whether you're dining in, you're getting it to go right now to hustle home and get in front of the TV all night tonight if you're having a game watching party. Next week, around the holidays with a lot of people coming in, you're going to need a lot of food. And Jason's Deli, they've got it. Whether it's 5 or 5,000, they have you covered for every catering need. And next week, if you feel a little bit frantic and you don't have it settled just right, that's when they step in. Same day, last-minute orders welcomed, and they excel at Jason's Deli. Everything you can get off that menu in the locations, you can get for them to cater it. The salads on the menu, like the Mesa chicken salad, the nutty mixed up salad, my favorite, the taco salad. And in every location, they have the great salad bar with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you would like. Catering anytime, anywhere. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Plenty of organic food to choose from. And in all these locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, the complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. Bryant's out today. We hope he'll be back tomorrow. We got a shorter show tomorrow. We know that regardless. We'll be out at 5 for Ole Miss and Tennessee. First pitch, 5:30 Central. Pregame starts tomorrow at 5. We hope Bryant can be back tomorrow. But you got me with Johnny Hill the rest of the way. We want you to stay tuned. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I just conducted another seminar for some folks who had inquired about preparing their homes for the market, as they would be scaling down into a smaller home or moving to an active lifestyle community. There are 12 things to take notice of in preparation, which can start now or in a year or two, whenever you are ready. One of the things to consider is what I call editing, and what you may call decluttering. That's funny, when you pick something up to decide whether to keep it or not, as soon as you touch it, all those good memories come back of where you were, when it happened, and who you were with. It can often be a tough decision, and keeping focused is the key to being successful and less stressful. If you want to discuss a plan for a move, whether now or in the future, and need guidance, please feel free to call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, Shell done at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide and services to showcase your invention. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's still running slow going outbound on Billboard's Parkway 385 there around Riverdale where we had that earlier crash. Again, that's extra slow out through there as you head towards Collierville. Here in the Midtown area, we've been watching them upright, this truck that flipped, and it still has traffic blocked over here on Jackson Avenue over I-40 as they clean up whatever it was carrying. Again, this is going to remain closed for a while over here on Jackson and Midtown, trying to avoid this area as it builds down. 240 southbound now. That's pretty slow at times passing South Parkway. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're in a little bit of that late afternoon lull, not entirely. Used to, this was a decided lull back in the day when it was mostly all CBS, because they would, as it is now here for their local affiliate, they would send it all back for local affiliates. And if you had like the Tigers in the tournament, the Channel 3 guys and gals would be doing live shots from wherever they were off at the tournament. If the Tigers were in it and around the country, every CBS affiliate out there doing that. But now with True TV and TNT and TBS and all the different carriers, we've got games ongoing, winding down to an end. Morehead State made it close for a long time, but the mighty Illini ended up being mighty, pulling away. They lead with 34 seconds to play, 84-67 over Morehead State, the champions of the Ohio Valley Conference. They beat Darrell Walker's Little Rock Trojans in the finals of the OVC Championship to get that automatic bid. 14:44 to go in the second half. Oregon lead by 14 over South Carolina, 51-37. That would make the SEC 0-2 today. Nevada leads Dayton 34-25. They're at the half. Everything else, finals from the day, we mentioned Michigan State over Mississippi State, Duquesne over BYU, Creighton over Akron, Arizona over Long Beach State. And in that game, Johnny, if I told you Arizona won by 20, do you think they covered or didn't cover the Las Vegas point spread?
I would say they would have covered.
They missed it by a half point.
What?
20.5-point favorites and win by 20. Oh, Vegas. They're good.
They're real good. I know.
Serious about it, too.
Yeah, I know Brian was happy about, despite that he is out. But I know Brian was for sure happy about seeing Arizona win because he picked them to win it all. So I know he was real happy about that, man. They looking good.
Did he pick them on his bracket?
Oh, if I'm not mistaken,
I didn't get a copy, as I will. I got a copy of yours, and I see a couple of red X's on it from today for yours. Also, North Carolina big over Wagner. In that Creighton-Akron game, the Creighton Blue Jays 10 of 17 from three-point line, 58.8%. They're going to win a lot of games like that. That's kind of their MO, and that's how they did it to Akron. You shoot almost 60% from three-point land, you're going to win in these tournament games.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt of like if you're shooting the lights off the ball, man, you always have a chance, especially in today's game. Like the 3-point line is very critical to win the game on the college level and the NBA. So when you are shooting that good from the 3-point line, you're going to have a day. You're going to have a day.
And tonight, a lot of action tonight. Colorado State and Texas, they tip about 5:50. Then at 6:10 on CBS, Oakland playing the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky, a 13.5-point favorite. Yesterday visiting with Blake Lovell. He's really on kind of scare alert for Kentucky.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I'm not. If it is, and Kentucky's in that white knuckle game, they'll be happy if they win. But those fans, they're ready to have it be easy in NCAA tournaments, and it hadn't been for Kentucky the last several tournaments. McNeese tonight. 30-3, McNeese against Gonzaga tonight on TBS at 6:25. South Dakota State and Iowa State tip at 6:35. The Tennessee Vols, 22.5-point favorites over St. Peter's. I bet you Kentucky was about that 2 years ago when they lost to St. Peter's in this very same 2-15 game. That game tips at 8:20 on TNT. NC State went on that roll last week, 5 games in 5 days. To punch the ACC automatic. They play Texas Tech on CBS at 8:40 tonight. And Samford, they play Kansas at 8:55 on TBS tonight. And a lot of people thinking Samford can pull the upset. And the last game of the day, the Drake Bulldogs against Washington State Cougars. That's set to tip at 9:05 with Drake as a 10 seed favored over Washington State.
Man, we got
Vegas knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. But we got a lot of great games coming on today, man. And one game I really am excited to see is that Kentucky and Oakland game, especially since Blake did talk about that yesterday. I really want to see what he see on the game because we all know he put a lot of work into these games, man. I really just want to see how Kentucky going to come out, man.
What's the real Kentucky? They don't guard very well.
They don't play good defense.
They can score. And everybody would take those players.
Yeah, like Keith was saying, a lot of them are lottery picks and day ones. So this Kentucky team is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Day one of the NBA draft. It will be over 2 days.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this Kentucky team can do, man, because I'm expecting them to just lay it on them like I seen North Carolina do today.
And I talked yesterday about which coach, if they lost, would least like to get that text from their AD. Would it be Rick Barnes having to report to Danny White, or would it be John Calipari having to report to Mitch Barnhart? Well, I don't think either are subject to being fired, and I don't think should be. But Kentucky is tired of this. Kentucky's got a lot higher bar than Tennessee basketball. Now, Tennessee's tired of not being able to set that bar higher.
Yeah.
They're ready to advance in March and one Elite Eight ever. Kentucky, they got gobs of that. And that's not even enough to satisfy their fans, even Elite Eight run. But early exits they have just about had enough of. Neither one of them. John Calipari, 65. Rick Barnes, 69. I think they both still have a lot of coaching left in them. And the payout to fire John Calipari and pay him off is, even by these times where the money doesn't even seem real, it's unreal. The money is outrageous.
Yes, and
he got the contract.
Yeah, the money is literally outrageous. Like you saying, Brett, I don't really see them firing them, but I do understand what you are saying.
Nor should.
Yeah, I don't see that because I do see what the fan base are expecting it though. Because if we want to be honest, Kentucky, they put out NBA guys every year. Every year they always have NBA talent, and they be chock full of it.
That's what they're tired of.
Yeah,
that's what their fans are tired of. Yeah. The best night of the year being draft night.
Yeah.
That's something to be very proud of here locally.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are, working with Tiger football and seeing all those guys cashing it in at the NFL level. That is definitely something to be proud of. But you got to feed the
home
team
first.
You got to advance in the NCAA tournament. And John Calipari, for years, has kind of kind of lived off of draft night. No, we want you to live off one shining moment night, and he did do that one time, but they signed up for more than that with him.
Yeah, and having the talent is crazy when you just look at the list of players that just popping in my head, like Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, like the De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, like the list go on and on and on.
On and on.
And the fact of the matter that you really don't have the chips to represent the players, that's very disappointing. I can see where the fans can be disappointed on that.
And the fans are kind of saying, let's do it like Alabama in football
Yeah.
did it. They're very, very happy on draft day, but they filled the trophy case up.
Yeah, and that's what Kentucky should be if you think about it, like especially the talent that they do
have
have
been historically.
Yeah, and that's what they should be, man. So we're gonna see. I'm really I'm very excited about this Kentucky versus Oakland game, especially since what Blake was talking about yesterday. I'm very curious to see how they come out.
This is the 15th March for John Calipari at Kentucky. He ain't gone to the tournament every year, and that's the issue too. But in 15 years, on the day they hired him, there's no Kentucky fan that thought, first of all, if he stays 15, we've probably won it at least 2 or 3 times, maybe 4, and they have won the same number that Joby Hall had, the same number that Rick Pitino had, the same number that Tubby Smith had. He's got the same number of national championships at Kentucky as those 3 coaches. They signed up for more than that. They've paid him more than that. And Mitch Barnhart has basically abdicated the entire athletics department to him, and he's produced one. They should be. They have every right to be mad.
Yeah, and I completely agree. They have every right to be mad, and this gonna be telling to see, because nothing against Kentucky, I don't see them winning it all this year, especially since that big defensive problem that they do have. They got they got really great scores on their team, but they gonna score, but you also know they gonna give it up eventually, man. And teams like that, if you can't play on both ends of the ball, they will not win.
And
they will not win.
We know what misses. One of those nights, that offense, instead of 10 of 17 from 3, you go 2 of 17.
Yeah, and it's bound to happen, and that's just what comes with playing basketball and being in a tournament. Like, you're going to go through a slump, but if you're going through a slump, you got to play defense. You got to. You can't give up too much. And we're going to see what this Kentucky team is really made of. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, and it will be fun to watch. I'm not on the fear scare alert that Blake Lovell was yesterday, but we'll see at 6:10 when the Wildcats play the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland in tonight's game, and that will be on CBS, and you'll see it here on Channel 3. Chevy truck season in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, all the Silverados you can imagine right there at All-Star, first exit into Mississippi, Kraft Goodman Road. You're coming down Highway 78, that's your exit, and you're there. You're at All-Star Chevrolet, where you can get any new Silverado you want with financing down to 0.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. Trailblazers and Equinox with 1.9 financing. No payments for 90 days. Families just love all the new Suburban, so we all can do more together. Where are you going for Easter, spring break, first big summer trip? And better yet, what are you driving? Need to be driving something from All-Star Chevrolet. Military, teachers, college students, healthcare workers, all get an extra $500. First responders all get an extra $500 bonus back. You want pre-owned? Everything you want's right there. All the Jeeps and Ram trucks. Drive a Yukon Denali or a Traverse, and if it's not on the lot, ask Kevin or Jeff, and they'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin both, and everybody at All-Star, Drew DePriest, the whole team, wish all of our listeners a very happy springtime and Easter season, and enjoy all the basketball. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Go to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com. When we come back, we'll have our big number of the day. And, Johnny, I get to turn the old tables on you today.
Flip the table.
I get to grade your big number today. You're always the hanging judge out here, handing out these tough grades on big number of the day. So today I get to judge yours. You got a good one?
Oh, I got a good one, Brad. I did my research. I know. Hey, I knew that the table.
We'll do that next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there. To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Okay, Johnny, let it fly. Let's see what you got.
Hey, man, this is a good big number. I did my research.
If you were on the tee box in golf, you need to hit this one about 380 right down the irrigation
line.
That
might be hard, Brett. That might be hard. But, okay, I got 35. Okay, and 35 is for Luka Doncic. He's the third player in NBA history to get 35 points before being 24 years old. He had 89 30-point games. The only guys who are in front of him is Wilt Chamberlain with 93 and LeBron James at 103. Hey, and fun fact about Wilt Chamberlain, he was 23 before and he entered the league at 23, so he was just tearing up the NBA at that point in time.
Well, he sure did, and that's good company to keep. That's a great number, Wilt Chamberlain, and my favorite Wilt Chamberlain numbers. I know there's some other numbers out there about Wilt.
Hey, there's a lot.
But my favorite is in his entire NBA career, never fouled out.
That's amazing.
Not a single time.
And when you think about it, like, he's really, I compare him to like Jerry Rice with the NFL, who have all the receiving yard records, but Wilt got every, like, he averaged 55 points a game, then he averaged like 23 rebounds a game.
As I always say about averaging points, I know there were not the big men back then that we really had most of the 70s and the 80s, and even today. You average 50 at a church league against air, you're doing something really good. He averaged 50.
And that's just amazing, man.
Champion for a couple teams, MOP of the Final Four with his Kansas Jayhawks right before his death. I think the February or so right before his death in 1999, they had him back on campus at Fog Allen, maybe for a retirement jersey ceremony, and he wore his letter jacket from in the day, and it fit perfectly. He stayed in that great of health and wore his letter jacket out on the floor that day.
Yeah, I love looking at a lot of old NBA type videos and different things on NBA TV. They had Hardwood Classics, and you would just see Wilt Chamberlain, how they talk about how he's a generational type of athlete, man, and that's just amazing. Him, Kareem, they just talk about it a lot. So just seeing the history, that's amazing.
Those two had,
yeah,
and the battles Chamberlain had
with Bill
with Bill Russell. I went to see Chamberlain coach here in the ABA, the old American Basketball Association, the red, white, and blue ball at the Coliseum. He was head coach of the San Diego Conquistadors. They wouldn't let him. He wanted to be player coach, and the NBA blocked it, and he was just coach. He did not play. My big number, and I promised this yesterday, I think to Bryant more than I did to you, 2,666.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a big number, isn't it?
That's a ginormous number.
That's the number of Division I career wins by the 8 coaches assembled here in Memphis. Number 1, Kelvin Sampson with 688. Scott Drew with 465. Third is Brad Brownell of Clemson, 429. Buzz Williams is fourth with 349. Matt Langle with 227. Richard Pitino with 221. Fred Hoiberg only 178, just getting it going at Nebraska, and Griff Aldrich at 109. Kelvin Sampson out there at 688 next year, and I bet he returns. If he won it all, he might look at stepping away. I think he's got a plan for a son to take over at Houston. But next year, if he comes back, he gets to 700 easy.
Yeah, he do, man. And just that run, that career and that run is amazing, man. Like just seeing him go through the years and just seeing him just pile on and keep getting better throughout his career, that's amazing.
I'm trying to think of the Division I stops for Kelvin Sampson. He was at Washington State, Oklahoma, Indiana, and Houston. I don't know if there were any more. He might have had a non-Division I like at Montana Tech, but it was not Montana or Montana State. And, Scott Drew, in his second stop, 1 year at Valparaiso, where his dad, Homer Drew, was the coach, and his brother, Bryce Drew, was the great player in 1998 when they went to the Sweet 16, defeating Ole Miss in Oklahoma City, and then that Sunday afternoon turning around and beating Florida State to get to St. Louis. I was at all those games, and it was fun to watch. Brownell, the Clemson coach, he's been at a lot of stops. Buzz Williams as well. I think this is first for Langle and Aldrich. Richard Pitino's already had a couple stops, as well as Fred Hoiberg. You've got to get that experience, and the only way to get it is laps around the track.
I completely agree. You need to get that type of experience as a coach. Like, you need that. You need that to get better, and for your squad to get better as well. So that it's just amazing. Just when you were talking about his career, Brad, more I just thought about, man, he had a great, like, he having a great run, because it's not over yet, but he having a real great run as a coach.
When he was at Washington State, I know he signed, and he was out there playing for him for a year, maybe two, at least one. Dwight Stewart from Memphis was at Washington State, and then Dwight Stewart famously ended up at Arkansas and was a key contributor to their 1994 national championship run with Corey Beck. But Dwight Stewart was out at Washington State with Kelvin Sampson. So with him being in Memphis and his experience through the years coaching here, most notably for Houston, no stranger to Memphis. Houston's been here a lot through the years. That tournament I went to in '84, the first NCAA tournament I ever went to, Houston was in that tournament and played a game with Akeem Olajuwon, their post player, against Karl Malone in Louisiana Tech, and it was a battle.
Oh, I can imagine.
A battle of kings. It was fun. And, Keith Lee on the Tigers. That's three with Pat Ewing. That was the 4 best big men in college basketball in those years, and 3 were here in that tournament.
Man, and that's just amazing. That's Hall of Famers right there, man. And just to see, man, I wish I could have seen them old battles, man. Just seeing Akeem Olajuwon, just looking back at his old tape, man, from Houston. He was a monster, man. He was a monster on both sides, on the defensive end and offensive end.
In 82, I don't remember him on the team in '82. They went to the Final Four, but I don't think he was on the team that year. That was mostly Rob Williams driven. Then in '83, he was so raw. I mean, he just all arms and legs, and he's blocking everything. He'd get a million goaltends every game. He's just blocking everything, and that was kind of what they told him to do, just defend that cup. Then in '84, that step up, what he did to make himself into a great offensive player, then you knew, man, it's on. He's some outstanding player. That's our big numbers of the day. Johnny, good job. I like that. Very good.
Hey, man, that was amazing.
A lot of pressure was on.
Hey, man. Hey, I told you, Brett, I came with it.
I'm going to say, okay, maybe 380 was a little much. I think it was about 350 right down the irrigation line. That's a good place to be.
Hey, I like it, Brett.
Hit it down the middle. 2 hours in the books. When we come back, we start hour number 3. We will talk the Memphis Tigers and the Memphis Regional, some other things with our friend Greg Gaston. That's next.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month, both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month, $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R724, $76.40, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Your chance to get that rare, hard-to-find luxury timepiece is here at Genesis Diamonds. Hi, this is Devir Vanunu, Vice President at Genesis. I want to make sure your Rolex dream come true. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Genesis is hosting an epic pre-owned luxury Rolex event featuring a stunning new selection of these hard-to-find watches. Hulks, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans, all the hottest models that people wait years for. These are carefully chosen timepieces in pristine condition. During this event, you can take advantage of special pricing and zero-interest financing. And listen to this, with the purchase of any luxury pre-owned Rolex at this event, Genesis will give you a pair of 2-carat lab-grown diamond stud earrings for free. That's a $4,000 value. Also, for this event, our pre-owned Rolex buyers are on site, offering top dollar for your Rolex. So I invite you to join us this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds, your home for luxury pre-owned Rolexes. We're at Poplar and Perkins Extended. I can't wait to meet you.
The 75th anniversary sales event is on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, and we've got Rockin' Ronnie Smith ready to put you in your new V-Dub today.
That's right, Randy. 3's your lucky number. 2024 Taos S, or a 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice. $275.96 per month.
Plus, Gossett Volkswagen Germantown's got 2024 Atlas Cross Sport, $33,999. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and 0 for 60 months on 24 Tiguans, but only at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
Come see me, Rockin' Ronnie Smith, and let me put you in your new V-Dub today.
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or online, GossettVWG.com. All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Cannot combine APR offer with $3,000
customer cash rebate. House RMO 53314, MSRP 26063, Tiguan RM 003120, MSRP 30026, Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506, Cross RC 23156, MSRP 38998. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a busy one today. It still is right now, trying to get down through the Midtown area on 240 South at South Parkway. They're still trying to clean up some of that debris that was on that truck or that cargo that flipped earlier on Jackson Avenue over I-40 there in the Midtown area. It's been a slow one today on Bill Morris Parkway going outbound from that earlier crash near Riverdale. It slowed down all that traffic headed out towards Collierville. Give yourself extra time just to play it safe if you're leaving Memphis headed out towards Collierville. A Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston, indeed, with us to talk the NCAA tournament, talk the Tigers. Tigers season, we know, ended last Thursday, but already news breaking since that exit from the AAC tournament last week. And, of course, all the games down at FedEx Forum that start bright and early tomorrow morning. Good afternoon, Greg Gaston. How are you?
Good afternoon, Brett. Doing very fine. Look, anytime we have NCAA basketball in town, even with the Tigers not making the tournament, it's a good time for everybody.
What was the first year you attended any NCAA tournament? Do you remember? Did you cover any at Maryland or early in your TV career?
No. Well, wait, let me think. No, we weren't. When I was in Maryland, I was there 10 years in Maryland. We covered a lot of big events, but a lot more with baseball, All-Star Game, Opening Day, Oriole Park, last game, Memorial Stadium. We did RFK with Redskins. We did some playoff Redskins games. I did some Washington Bullets games. I don't think we ever really did much with college sports, to be honest with you, other than the local team, which was Salisbury, a Division III school that was pretty good in football when I was there and is extremely good in the game of lacrosse. That's what they're known for.
In those years that you would cover Orioles opening day, whether it was at the old ballpark at Memorial or the new one at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, were you ever there the day that often the president would throw out the first pitch?
Yeah, I think I was there one time when that happened. I've been there. I wasn't there every opening day, but when I was, I was running around, my head cut off, as the little guy, not one of the big Baltimore or Washington stations. You're trying to do a lot of stuff on your own. I did have a shooter, photographer, but I was there one year, and I think it was Bush Senior. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I was there when one president threw out the first pitch. And I was there for the All-Star game. I couldn't even tell you what was happening pregame as far as that's concerned. Like, I remember Super Bowls with halftime acts, and sometimes I remember the national anthem singer. I couldn't even tell you what all the things were that happened leading up to the actual game itself. So
how about the Bush family? Senior was the proverbial soft-tossing lefty, and then George W. brought the heat as a right-hander after 9/11 at Yankee Stadium.
Dub brought the heat, and he found the strike zone, too.
Right down central. He sure did.
He was an athlete, though, right? But then again, so was Walker. He was an athlete at Yale.
The dad played baseball at Yale. George W. was a cheerleader at Yale, but also played golf. Now it takes some athletic prowess to be a
let me tell you
to be a
something.
cheerleader.
I had a friend who grew up. He was a little bit older than us. He grew up in South Jersey. Guy went on. He was a Georgetown cheerleader, and let me tell you something. Back then, wasn't looked upon as real. You know what I mean? As athletic, it was unfortunately not looked upon.
2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah,
not a positive way. But he was a buddy, and he was actually a heck of an athlete growing up. So times have changed. Now you see a lot of male athletes out there that are cheerleaders, are part of cheerleading crews and cheerleading groups and dance teams and things of that nature. So to each his own.
In the last week after the Tigers exit the loss to Wichita State last Thursday, around this time, you were very kind to join us, and that is tough to do. And you said that it was a disaster. I've heard a lot of people talk disappointment, and I just respectfully disagree. Last year was deeply disappointing. This year was deeply a disaster.
Yeah, I think you can easily differentiate the two. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think you've echoed those sentiments. We thought that Penny did a really good job coaching last year. Last year was a little bit more of a challenge. You had two really good players and a bunch of role players. This year, they supposedly had 5, 6, 7 guys that were really good players. Last year, he maneuvered around the pitfalls. He got 2 guys to really come through in the big games. And it's unfortunate, disappointing, the word you used, and I'll use that word as well, that it ended the way it did. But overall, I thought Penny did a great coaching job last year. This year, you can't look at it in the same vein as last year. You can't. First of all, you didn't make the tournament. Second of all, at one point, you were 10th ranked in the country. Third of all, you were 15-2 to start the season. There was many disasters within the big disaster. It was a disastrous season. It doesn't mean that will happen again or Penny won't get it straightened out. But we got to be honest here, and that's what it was this year. Unfortunately, it turned out to be disastrous.
And, Greg, I fear that maybe the biggest disaster, maybe the biggest, can you believe that happened, still looming with the Malcolm Dandridge academic issue. That's not going away. When they set him down and he really never was a threat to get back in there, he can post all he wants at the IG. I'm afraid that's bigger. It's a pretty big story, and it's not going to go away. And if it got into another player that did play, then you're talking about the forfeiture of games if it's a major matter. If it's not, and if you can keep it isolated to just Malcolm Dandridge and it all goes away, I hope that happens.
It's a university issue, I believe, if it's just Malco, and if it is Malco. We still don't know for sure, but usually where there's smoke, there's fire, and obviously this has lingered for a long time. So you feel like there's something there. But if they can isolate it, I think everything will be fine. If it ends up blowing up and there's more players named and others involved in other sports, then you have an issue. You have a major issue. I don't know. I haven't heard another peep from anybody about this story. The only thing I saw was Malco's IG post, which was a bit cryptic. That's all I have heard and all I have seen, Brett. So I have no idea, but I tend to believe that it's got to be a little bit more serious than what people thought originally. If it's lingered this long, this investigation has gone on, what is it now, nearly a month? 3 weeks at least?
One of the best IG accounts out there is Commander Chuck with our traffic. Have you checked it out?
I love Commander Chuck. He does a yeoman's job for us all day and all night long, and I heard he's an impeccable dresser.
Shaking it up at the IG. Greg Gaston with us every week from the Tiger Sideline, brought to you by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, and Neil's Bar and Grill.
Greg, there have been a lot of downs during the season, from bad body language to having a scandal with Malcolm Dandridge. But what are some good points that the Tigers have done that they can bring going into next season?
Well, the positive was that they played on paper a tough schedule. Penny is trying to schedule the best he can. And it certainly wasn't his fault. I've said it a million times on this segment that I'm on and on my show. I've said it a million times. It's not his fault that some of the teams that they beat did what they did to the bed. And you know what I'm talking about. It's not their fault. So I like that Penny continues to try to schedule as well as he can in the non-conference, because he knows down deep inside that you're not getting much of a pop at all from the conference other than Florida Atlantic. So they went out there, they played that schedule, and they went out and started out the way they did. That's a positive, right? But that's only a positive until conference play completely, knocked that out of the park with the negativity, with the bad losses, with the implosion. So you forget about what happened at the beginning of the year, but it's totality. It's not just, you can't just take little portions and say it was great here, because in the end, it's all about the totality of the season. A positive was certainly David Jones. David Jones' emergence into being a top-level scorer, not completely well-rounded, because if he was completely well-rounded, this guy would be looked at as a lottery pick. And if you look at the mocks, I don't even see him in the first nor the second. I think that's foolish. I think this guy will have a shot at the NBA. He's got to be better defensively, better ball handler. But the emergence of David Jones, who has another year, could come back. I would bet against it, but it could happen. And I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if it did. So you saw the emergence of Jones. You also saw how the team's issues played a part in David Jones not making any of the All-American teams. I'm not saying that David Jones would have absolutely been on the first, second, or third if Memphis had gone to the tournament and had a little bit better record. But I certainly think it hurt them and hurt him by the team struggling the way they did down the stretch. It was an honorable mention All-American, which is still very nice, but not one of the first, second, or third teams. So I think that certainly hurt. But his emergence was a strong point. Other than that, it is really hard to find a lot of positives in the season.
Okay, Greg, also, I have a question. You mentioned David Jones. Does it help? Would you think it would help his draft stock going forward of staying, or should he just go ahead and go?
Boy, Johnny, that's a great question. Okay, that's the question being asked by a lot of people. Of course, we don't have anything to do with that decision. That's his and his family. But I don't think he can do much more to improve the stock, because I think it's going to be tough for him to turn around and average those types of numbers again. So I don't know if it's going to make a difference, him coming back. All of a sudden he's going to, be dribbling like Meadowlark Lemon or Curly Neal or Marcus Haynes, to be honest with you. Brett knows all the guys I'm talking about there. Harlem Globetrotters, who are the best ball handlers, basketball's ever seen.
Saw him at the Coliseum, Greg.
Yeah, there you go. And he's not going to be that. He can improve. He can also improve defensively, but you don't always see that. What you see is the numbers. So how about if he comes back and then he only averages 17 a game? Maybe the team will be better. That will be great. That's more important. But they may look at him, scouts may look at him and say, why did he drop off 5 points? Why did he drop off 6 points? I think what he has to do is get these individual workouts, be on a summer league team, showcase his skills as a scorer, which is what he is, and try to get himself a solid look, a legitimate look. And if it's not right away, maybe he goes and plays internationally for money, or maybe just settles into a G League, hopefully a two-way position where he can strengthen his weaknesses and get better. But I don't know. Brett, I don't know if you disagree. I don't see – it would be great for Memphis and Memphis fans. I'm not saying he shouldn't come back, but I don't see how it would remotely make that much of a difference in who he is after this year.
I'm with you, and he's really in a tough spot. You mentioned here, and the numbers decline. He goes somewhere else, the numbers decline. What if the scout sees, maybe some real or perceived petulance of his numbers going down? He's in a tough spot.
Yes, I didn't even think about that possibility of him actually staying in college and going somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know how much he enjoyed the situation. I know he's talked glowingly about Penny and positive about the program, but it certainly came to an abrupt end. That can't make you happy. It doesn't mean that you have to pack your bags and leave if you're staying in college. He could easily come back and play another year at Memphis. It doesn't have to be anywhere else. Of course, you throw in the whole NIL factor, which is a major factor. But I still think when it's all said and done, again, don't sue me if I'm wrong, but that I think he'll look to go professional.
No lawsuits here. Greg Gaston, our guest, he's with us every Thursday. You hear him every morning on these radio airwaves with Eli Savoy, and we're glad to have him on Thursdays with us. The news today, the NBA shutting down G League Ignite. There was a time that we thought, certainly 6 years ago in the halcyon days of Penny Hardaway first being hired 0-0, and he's going to go out there and sign all these 5 stars. We thought he was going to get players in the day that gravitated toward G League Ignite. Do you think he still can go out there and get them now that he won't be fighting the NBA for them, but he will be fighting Duke, Kentucky, and all those teams?
He'll be in those battles. He will absolutely be in those battles. I don't know if he's going to be able to, land the majority of those battles, but he's going to win some of those battles. There is no denying that Penny and his name means an awful lot. If the player himself doesn't know, they will learn quickly through whoever that person's parents are or grandparents are. They're going to know who Penny Hardaway is. Penny Hardaway has had a number of players that have played for him. Some certainly improved under his leadership. Others maybe not so much. But you saw the talent in the way he was able to recruit because a number of the guys have gone on to play in the NBA or playing certainly in the G League and playing very, very well. So I think that adds at least to the possibility. I think it strengthens the possibility for not only Memphis but for the Blue Bloods that they're going to be able to nab these players that would normally go to play for Ignite. Now that is done with, I think it was a worthwhile experiment. I thought it would succeed. It didn't when it's all said and done. So those players now will have to think about what they want to do. Do they want to go to school for a year? Do they want to go and play as a two-way guy in the G League or just go into the G League or play internationally, professionally? So there's going to be options for them, but the G League Ignite is unfortunately not going to be an option for them anymore.
Greg, just like in college football with the almost $8 billion deal signed agreed to this week for the future of the college football playoff, the TV package of it with ESPN. All the people that were reporting the end of college basketball as we know it with G League Ignite, and it's never going to look the same. As long as the NCAA can fetch that rights fee number from CBS and other partners, there's always going to be college basketball. It may look different, may feel a little different. We may have the volatility of roster composition like we're in, but we're going to keep college football and college basketball. Now, again, it may feel very different.
Well, first of all, preach, brother, because I'm with you 100%. Second of all, how many zeros are there in 31 billion or whatever the number was? Because I can't even think that high of the numbers we're talking about being thrown around. Not only thrown around, but obviously they have a contract now for the future of college football. But yes, you're absolutely right. It may look different. There's going to be tweaks. I don't think they need to do this overall because I think they'll ruin the product. They're going to probably add a few more teams. I'm okay with a few more, even though I'd rather have it the way it is. Actually, I'd like to go back to 64. But if they start to throw out 96, then we're watering down the product. Don't water down the product. But there's always going to be the need for that product, the NCAA tournament, March Madness. It goes together. It makes too much sense. There's too many dollars out there. Yes, I think that we're going to see in this world of the NIL and the transfer portal more teams, not less, more teams that will be capable of making the Final Four, to make a Final Four run. There's going to be more teams. It may even happen on the women's side, where for I don't know how many years you had 6 teams, maybe 6 teams that could win it. Even though you have powers like South Carolina, you're going to have more teams because all they have to do is strike it once or twice with a terrific player through NIL, and then all of a sudden they become a challenger. So I think the product will be tweaked, like you said, but that product is necessary. It's a great product, and I think as long as those dollars are available, which they will be, college basketball and the NCAA basketball tournament is going to live forever, and obviously we know what's going on with college football.
And the brackets sure don't hurt. People love having that connectivity to the tournament. How my team's doing, how my bracket looks, and as long as you have that interest and that involvement, it's not going anywhere. Greg, I love throwing this number out. For the 21st century, for champions crowned in the 21st century, now bear in mind, in college basketball, no champion crowned in 2020 because of COVID. In college basketball, we've had 13 different champions in the 21st century. Michigan State, Duke winning it 3 times, Maryland, Syracuse, UConn 4 times, North Carolina 3 times, Florida 2 times, KU 2 times, Kentucky once, Louisville once, Villanova twice, Virginia once, and Baylor once. That's the same number that college football's had, 13.
Really?
Yep.
How about that?
And the stereotype is the same team wins it every year in college football, isn't it?
Man, how about that?
Absolutely. That blows my mind. That number blows my mind. I also forget because it's been a while since we had the back. When's the last time we had the back-to-back in college? In basketball.
06, 07, Florida.
With Florida. Okay. So it's been a long time since we had the back-to-back. So, again, it's surprising when you rattle off, not necessarily back-to-backs, but the multiple winners. We know that UConn has won a bunch of times. They have dominated.
3 different coaches.
Yes, I know. Connecticut's crazy. That's a crazy story. But that blows my mind because I would have thought that there would be, I don't know, I'd say at least 5 to 7 more different basketball teams winning a natty as opposed to football.
Same number, 13 for college football, 13 for college basketball. And again, to be very fair, college basketball didn't have a chance to crown a champion in 2020. I don't know if it would have been repeat or not. If it was, it means they've got one more than college football. We're now opening up college football to more teams, I think they have a chance to win it. And one of those teams, the Memphis Tigers. This week, the announcement of a new deal for head coach Ryan Silverfield and the most anticipated season coming up this year in Tiger football history.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. Now, there was a lot of people who still were critical after this past season when the team won 10 games for, the 5th or 6th time in their history?
Yeah.
And won the Liberty Bowl game, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. And still there was criticism. Like, it's almost like,
I don't get it.
Do you know what we're talking about here? It's Memphis football, for goodness sakes. But Memphis football over the last decade is a lot different than Memphis football previous. Let's be honest. They have been able to take it up a level. Now, can they take it up that extra level where they're having the money to be able to compete with schools of their ilk, NIL-wise? I'm not talking about the Ohio States and the Alabamas. I'm talking about teams of their peers. The Tulanes of the world. Can they do that? Florida Atlantic, is going to start pumping money into football. There's others certainly on that list. Boise State from the Mountain West. Can they do that? Well, this year, the recruiting, I think, has gone extremely well. The proof will be in the pudding when we see these players perform in the fall. But, yes, now you have this 12-team playoff, soon to be probably 14, right? And then eventually 16, but it's 12. It's a lot better than 4. And even though we saw Cincinnati get in there, it was few and far between. And even though you don't have a couple of seats at the table, you have one nice, comfortable seat that looks the same as all those other seats around the table. And why not Memphis sit in that seat?
And the Tigers have a real path to it.
They have a path. The thing that worries me a little bit, now, it puts pressure on them to not only win they got to win the conference tournament, the conference, but it also puts pressure on going undefeated in the conference because they're playing Florida State. And I've had people already tell me, hey, I think we can upset Florida State. Well, let's hold on here.
I said it to Johnny an hour ago in the hallway.
I know you've said, but let's
week 2.
Let's hold off. Hey, I'm buying you a cake or something if that happens. I'm not saying it can happen, but right now I'm
if
thinking,
it doesn't happen, you and Grizz a cake to the face to me, right? Man, we go through the cakes at FedEx for them, don't we?
Oh my gosh, they're keeping some baker in business
sure
for a while. But the fact of the matter is, if you lose that game, even though it's non-conference, you already have a blemish. Again, you win the conference, you roll through it. No reason why you can't be the highest-ranked conference
12 seed,
champion
probably.
In the group of 5, and you're in there. But if you lose one, now you have 2 total losses.
Probably
still win the conference championship. Does a boy? I'm just using Boise as an example. They roll through and win the Mountain West
Air
undefeated.
Force. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So maybe it's a little harder in that sense because you are playing that big power non-conference opponent. I love that they are. I really do. And I can't sit here and tell you that I know everybody else's schedule in the league or outside the league in the group of 5. But if they're all playing a team of that ilk, Florida State, okay, then so be it. Then it's an equal playing field. But if Boise's 4 opponents are whatever, and the Sisters of the Poor, then it doesn't compare to having played Florida State. And will that be taken into consideration if they're both in the battle for how they're going to rank these teams when they rank them for the final time to see which conference champion is ahead? So that's one thing that concerns me a little bit. But if they do what you just said, man, they should be able to. I'm not going to say roll through this conference because there's going to be challenges every single week. Last year.
It was.
This past season.
It's a much better football conference than basketball.
Right. They had battle. We know the battles that they had with UAB and battles with North Texas. I mean, I was there for those games, so I know it firsthand. But, man, if you win that game to open the season, you're feeling really good about yourself. Plus, they got a fourth-year starting quarterback who's been there since day one.
Been through
and
the
there
wars.
are not a lot of there are not a lot of programs that have that. There are not a lot of programs that have that. So they have an edge with the most important position on the field, having a quarterback that's been there and done that.
That FSU game and the anatomy of spring in that big upset, I'm just guessing right now. I'm going to guess, FSU probably 11, 12, 13-point favorite at home at Doak Campbell. That's one thing, Doak Campbell. Going through a massive remodel. They're reducing capacity next year. It's not going to be 75, 80, whatever old capacity was. It's going to be a good crowd there. It's going to be hot. Nothing new about Memphis Tigers football players having to play in hot weather. So that's not a gigantic issue. And I think that is the breakout day weekend for Seth Hennigan. We know about him here. The rest of the country knows about him after that weekend.
Well, I hope they can put up with that war chant because that's going to drive me up bonkers on the sideline. I can tell you that much.
Well, it will. And Greg, if as early as I know we all get there, you will see the test run of the planting of the spear. They practice that pregame, and then he does it for all the fans there, so you get it twice.
Oh, jeez. I think there'll be a nice contingent of Memphis fans. Why wouldn't you want to go down to Tallahassee, right, at that time of the year? It'll be really, really nice. So I think they'll have a nice contingent. It certainly won't compare to the contingent that Florida State has. But I didn't know that about the renovations to Doak Walker. So not Doak Walker,
Campbell.
but, Doak Campbell. But I did not know that. So who knows? Less is better in this case when you're a visiting team.
You got it. Greg Gaston, we love having you. We'll be listening tomorrow morning as we always do. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, guys. You too. Take care.
Thank you. Greg Gaston with us every Thursday talking the Tigers, and it will start with the spring game coming up on Saturday, April 20th, and into the summer. The hype will begin for the most anticipated Memphis Tigers football season ever, and it's one that could end in the promised land, in the playoffs for the Memphis Tigers. I sure hope so. It'll be a lot of fun. When we come back, we'll look at what's trending from around sports, get you an update on all the NCAA tournament games, a couple more finals, and a look to tonight, and then wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Johnny Hill, Brett Norsworthy with you. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jason, the main man Marshall's marking down everything on the lot. He just can't help himself.
I love making my customers happy at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike.
Well, Jason, how you doing it this month?
With deals like this, Randy, choose from 2024 Taos S, 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Take your pick, just $275.96 a month.
Jason, how about Tiguans?
How about 0% for 60 months on 24 Tiguans, plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and no reasonable offer will be refused.
So hook up with Jason, the main man Marshall at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, or go online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Just come see me, Jason, the main man Marshall at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike, where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike.
All 36 monthly, $7,500 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Taos, RMO 53314, MSRP 26063. Tiguan, RM 003120, MSRP 30026. Jetta, RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Cannot combine APR with 3,000 customer cash rebate. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Offer expires end of the month.
The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook, and only with the code HERD, H-E-R-D. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made, the Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
You know our trusted partner TireRack.com for their fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and their great selection of best tires, like the highly consumer-rated Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready. But did you know they sell other automotive products? Wheels, brakes, suspension, just to name a few. Go to TireRack.com/Colin. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We're still back over here looking at this where a truck crashed earlier and flipped over. They did upright it. They got it out of here, but the cargo that it was carrying remains on the ground over here on Jackson Avenue over I-40. Again, that remains shut down. 1600 block of Union's been closed as well with some police activity. It's still crawling out there on Bill Morris Parkway going outbound at Riverdale. We had a car flip earlier out there, and now we got all that rush hour traffic trying to get back out to Collierville that's running slow down 385 Bill Morris Parkway again going outbound. Once you get past Riverdale, it does pick back up. Weiber's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We welcome you back, and I want to tell you about Jim's Place Grill. And for the weekend and ahead and for next weekend during the holiday season, keep Jim's Place Grill in mind. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, and lasting great memories. The Terrace family with their touch for our community with recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown, now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the Ian Grill, and I know tonight will be fun and festive inside the bar area with everybody watching the TV and a lot of brackets out enjoying the NCAA tournament. Every state grilled perfectly over at Open Flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark, hard work, values, and a dedication to their beloved diners, the Terrace family. They've created a memorable dining experience. The lunch menu, like the staples like the souffle mauve, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and those salad dressings that are all homemade. And at dinner, the soups, the seafood, the calamari, and those steaks, ribeyes, fillets, and strips. Great bar area, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville, and we appreciate them so much. NC tournament action, not in a complete lull, but getting ready to get set for the big night. SEC, not so much, 0-2 already.
Oh, bad.
Oregon puts it on. South Carolina wins by 14. Really never challenged. It was all Ducks all day over South Carolina, and they post the win. Right now, 56-50 on TBS. Nevada leads Dayton. That's the only game in action right now. Everything else, finals from the day. Tonight, a lot of good games getting ready to get started in about 15 minutes on TNT. Colorado State against Texas. Colorado State winner in Dayton to get to the game against Texas. Oakland against Kentucky. McNeese against Gonzaga. South Dakota State, Iowa State, St. Peter's, Tennessee. NC State, Texas Tech, Sanford, KU, Drake, and Washington State. 0-2 for the SEC. And to the people texting to Big Homer SEC, I had both of those teams losing. I had both Mississippi State and South Carolina losing today. And remember, I said for SEC, and it was an arbitrary number, but I tried to set it fairly, 11.5 over and under for SEC wins in the tournament. I went under the 11.5. Again, I only have two teams making it to the Elite Eight. That's Tennessee and Kentucky. So even with that, I had 10 wins, and that's with Kentucky and Tennessee getting to the Elite Eight. For the American, I had under 1.5, and that means either Florida Atlantic's got to win twice because I don't expect UAB to win, but we'll see.
Man, hey, Brett, on my bracket sheet right now, all I see is red because I picked South Carolina to win, and I also picked.
So the real SEC.
I'm
homer
the SEC.
Here is you.
I'm the SEC homer, man. I'm from Mississippi, man. So I had to go with Mississippi State, man.
Well, I just saw it. Just put another big red. Johnny, you got 3 X's.
3. Hey, Brett, I'm starting off on the wrong foot.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in yellow. I'm going to add one more with that last final of the day. No, that is it. So how many finals do we have? So we have 7 finals from the afternoon, and you are 4 and 3. We have 7 finals from the afternoon, and I am 6 and 1. But I'm already 0 and 1 in the Sweet 16 with BYU.
Brett, hey, man.
Thanks for nothing.
Hey, this bracket can be so cruel.
It really can. Sports can be cruel, and so far not a blockbuster today. There's been, Duquesne was the 11 seed. They defeated the 6 seed. Michigan State the 9. They beat the 8. Okay, but not anything real calamity. That only means it's on the way, Johnny.
Hey, it's coming, man.
Okay, you may dodge it tonight. Look out tomorrow.
Like you said, it's on the rise, and I feel like since Blake was doing all that hinting, maybe he thinking that it could, like, Kentucky can be in trouble.
That would definitely suffice to calamity.
Yeah, so if that happened to me, oh my goodness, Brett, I'm in trouble.
If Kentucky loses, if you go to Matt Jones' Twitter site, Matt Jones at Kentucky Sports Radio that covers Kentucky basketball so very well, and prominent position on the weekends with ESPN Radio. I don't agree with everything he says, but I know he's got a good handle on Kentucky basketball. His mentions tonight will just be flammable.
Oh, yeah.
If Kentucky goes out.
On fire.
and that's part of the good and the bad of those aircraft carrier programs like Kentucky, like they have and they've had forever. It goes with that.
Yeah.
When they win, the highs are really high. When they lose, they just think the world's coming to an end.
And it would just be devastating to see that all them picks, like Keith Smith was talking about, like they got 3 lottery picks on there, and for sure 3 top 10 picks on that team. So to see that that team will go in flames tonight, that would be crazy to see. That'd be very
I don't
devastating.
think it's happening.
I hope not. But Blake said keep your eye on it, so I'm going to keep my eye to it.
We're going to watch it close. That's the game on the local CBS affiliate tonight on Channel 3. That tips about 6:10. I was watching 10 o'clock news last night, and one of the local sports announcers was mentioning tomorrow to start the day would be Michigan State against it'd be Mississippi State against blue blood Michigan State. Do you think Michigan State's a blue blood in college basketball?
I don't necessarily.
What makes you one?
Like, yeah, I would think if you're a blue blood, wouldn't go into the chips, the players you put out, and like history overall. Wouldn't that make that
two national titles all time for Michigan State? 1979, Judd Heathcote head coach, Magic Johnson, player. That
Hall of Fame.
That's a lot right there.
Yeah.
When you mentioned you had Magic, they win it again in 2000 with Mateen Cleaves as MOP of the Final Four, and that's Tom Izzo's one and only national championship. I don't think I'm not quibbling with this person. I like this person a lot. If he believes it, that's fine. But I don't think two makes you a blue blood.
No, I think you need more than two. You need more than two for sure.
And with that, if you're making the case, and this person wasn't and didn't try to, but if you're out there and you try to make the case that Michigan State, that they are a blue blood, but UConn's not, no way. I think UConn's there, and if Hurley adds it back to back, and that would be 3 for Calhoun, 1 for Kevin Ollie, and 2 for him, so that's 6 total. It'd be the 5th of the 21st century under 3 different coaches, and back to back join 06-07 Billy Donovan and the Gators. If that doesn't get you in the elite club, I tell the elite club to stick it.
I completely agree. Like, the accolades just speak for itself when you talk about UConn. Like the history right there. I honestly believe like UConn is what you would consider a blue blood type of team, especially with the history that you have said.
They don't have the way back history.
No, they don't got
like
that.
Kentucky
They don't got that.
and Kansas and UCLA
and Duke and all them. Like.
And Duke didn't win their first all time until 92.
Oh, I didn't know that.
91 under Coach K, and then they went back to back 91, 92. But they were good way back. They were, Art Hyman was MOP of the Final Four way back, but he did it on a losing team. They didn't even win it that year. They had history. They had history with Bill Foster, the coach that preceded Mike Krzyzewski, but they didn't win it. But they had plenty good teams. They added to bullet points. They added to resume. UConn got most of theirs from about 1990 on, and Jim Calhoun largely, the credit for him starting it there. I've said I think what UConn, how they got blue blood status, joined the club in a relatively over the span of history, short amount of time, is what the U did in football. The U did it in football and kicked the door down, and we're in your club.
And when you talk about the U, oh my goodness, the chips they have put out, and also the NFL players they have put out, that list goes long.
And they did it in football under several different coaches.
Yes, they did.
First one with Howard Snellenberger, Jimmy Johnson got one, Dennis Erickson got one, Larry Coker got one. When you can do it under a couple of different coaches, you're doing it. You're at the top of the class. I'm going to enjoy the games tonight. Tomorrow, hope Bryant can be back. If he is, I'm going to be down at FedEx Forum all day for all the games. It's such a great lift to the city for people from around the world, for whatever they hear and whatever they think about Memphis, for them to get here and see that arena, to see our downtown, to see that it's not all the things that they might see and hear out there in this world that we don't have a lock on crazy.
No, we don't. And a lot of things in this world you really can't control. Like, it's out of your control. And like you said, I came to Memphis to just go to school, and the environment, the people here have been very good to me, and I seen some amazing things in Memphis that I just never wanted. I never seen before. So
it's been good to me.
Yeah, it's been very good to me.
Essentially, it's been home, largely, mostly, all my life. 901-360-8255 is the text number. It's the call number. And it's also the number all our guests have been on today. And it's sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin. We appreciate them so much. They are the official jeweler of the hometown teams of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers. That new location open at 4542 Poplar. We helped the soft grand opening. We were there as a part of the grand opening, and we hope to be back soon. I know basketball's on all day, every day there. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, wedding bands, 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Since 1970, with all the locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry. When we come back, we wrap up this Thursday afternoon with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Springtime is hot wing time, and time for the ultimate hot wing showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival. Be there Saturday, April 20th at Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll, all in support of the Ronald McDonald House. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. It's hot wing time in Memphis. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Hi, this is Kiari Kane, the point guard at the University of Memphis women's basketball. Whether it's a spring break vacation or a home renovation, apply today for a personal loan with Southern Security. Join Southern Security today and make your dreams a reality. Southern Security is a proud supporter of University of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women. Southern Security, your home team credit union.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM.
Sign up using code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Remember to use code KOSTOS and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else. Last final of the afternoon session, Dayton wins 63-60. So 8 games in the books. The best you could have done today is 8-0. The most X's you could have on your sheet for the first round is 8. And Johnny, you don't have that. You don't have 8, do you? No.
Hey man, I'm grateful that I don't have 8. I barely got over not having 8, Brett.
I learned today that baseball better hope the Shohei story stops right there at the Interpreter. It's a lot of money. There are a lot of stories out there. I read a story today that this could be the biggest scandal in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, since the Hollywood Madame, because this bookie was the bookie to the stars. Because sports wagering, no casinos, no legal sports wagering, even on your own apps out in California, and they even with all the money that Hollywood and stars may have, you can't get to Vegas for everything you want to bet on, and they were betting through him. That's how the reporters found this aspect to the story, was doing a story on the biggest bookie to the stars, and there are going to be other people from sports, because baseball, the most sensitive sport ever to gambling, from Shoeless Joe way back when to Pete Rose, they better hope it stops right there at the Interpreter, because Shohei's the single biggest star in the sport.
Yes, he is, and this scandal is very something else, man. And also, what I learned today is about Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver from Texas. This man is shooting up the draft boards, man, ever since he broke the 40-yard dash record. The only question I do have about Xavier, he's a great player, but the only thing I do question is, does that translate to the NFL? That's the only question that a lot of evaluators are having for him, and we're going to see.
Here's the key to being a great receiver in the NFL. You got to catch it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run all day.
Yeah,
you can't teach that speed, but if you're going to play receiver, you got to be able to be a reliable receiver.
Yes.
I could have done without. I'm sorry for whatever threats J.B. Bickerstaff had to endure, and I like J.B. Bickerstaff a lot from his years here in Memphis. But to blame all the fan bad behavior on the rampant sports betting out there is a little bit of a cop-out. If people want to do a little Googling tonight, Google his owner, Dan Gilbert, who in 1981 in college was running a college book at Michigan State University that was booking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he had to rough up a guy, and a parent was wired, and he got in trouble over it. Dan Gilbert owns a casino. I don't know if they have a sports book in it, and he's been in the mortgage business, and that's kind of gambling in and of itself.
Yeah, and what I could have done without is the SEC letting me down today in the tournament, man. So maybe I was a homer, man, with the SEC. South Carolina let me down it, and also
everybody says that around town. Johnny Hill, SEC homer.
Yeah, that's my new name. Like, we're twins, Brent.
That's it. Where you beaming to tonight, real quick?
Man, I'm beaming to Kentucky, man. I'm trying to see what Blake sees.
Look at you, SEC homer.
Hey, man.
I'm gonna live here tonight, and you're chanting SEC. I'm beaming downtown to Memphis for the next 3 days. The real potential of 2 Final Four teams in Houston and Baylor downtown. All we need are the Razorbacks to make it a Southwest Conference tournament circa 1990. We'll be watching Kentucky tonight. Will it be easy or difficult, white knuckle or not, against Oakland? Everyone on upset alert with McNeese against Gonzaga. Dalton Connect and UT big favorites over St. Peter's. KU Sanford, Drake, Washington State, real late. Want to thank Steve Macy from the Showboats. Keith Smith always talks NBA with us, and Greg Gaston every week talking the Tigers. We hope Bryant's feeling better and will be back with us tomorrow. For Bryant Dacus, for Johnny Hill, I'm Brett Norsworthy. Everybody enjoy the madness. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R724, 7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 MPG highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hey Mid-South, it's springtime, so let's celebrate with the Gossett Mitsubishi Motor Spring Sales Event. Time to go spring breaking with 43 MPG Highway. Do it right with 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett for only $19,110 or $259 a month. Go your own way in style with 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett $30,150 or $449 a month. Or hit the road in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE $36,165 or $399.99 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage RH 006614 MSRP 1916 Eclipse RZO 32749 MSRP 30650 Outlander RZO 12807 MSRP 36165 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.